The umpires are coming out to the middle in the second test match. The West Indies 1-0 up, of course, looking to press for a series win, which would be their first in England since 1988. They've got a long way to go yet, but they did manage to snaffle a wicket just before lunch on the first day. A brief 1 hour session after rain this morning. I've got Alistair Cook back alongside me. 29 for 1 then. England resuming. That means that Dominic Sibley walks out alongside Zak Crawley because Rory Burns, Alistair, on day one of the test, 1 hour into play. Spinner came on for an hour before lunch and he played for turn, second ball, but there wasn't any.
No, classic non-turning off spinner from Roston Chase. He just skidded on, new Duke's ball, only 13 overs old. Just didn't grip the surface, and frustrating for England because it was all pretty much under control, you'd say. I don't think West Indies bowled particularly well. There's a lot of balls to be left, and they always talk about a bowling attack. You want to hit the top of off stump, find the top of off stump no matter where that length is or what the surface is, find the top of off stump. And I think about 45-50 minutes into the session, there's about 3 balls which was hitting the top of off stump. So West Indies probably got out of jail there that it was such a short session. Certainly amazing how the pressure changes. A couple of wickets now, then West Indies are right on top, but it looks a good batting wicket.
29 for 1, yep. So Rory Burns was LBW Chase for 15. He'd faced 35 balls. Sibley 8 from 45. But it is Crawley, the new batsman, settling over his bat with a leg slip and a short leg in place. And Roston Chase is to continue with his off spin. Not too many footholds outside the right-hander's off stump, but he's in now. Caught leg slip, first ball after lunch. Roston Chase leaps away in celebration. He is hugged. And Holder with the catch has wheeled away as well. What a start for the West Indies. And, Roston Chase, 2 wickets in 2 balls either side of the lunch break.
Amazing how quickly it changed. And a little plan there, because it was deliberate down the leg side, and it was almost as if Zak Crawley didn't know the leg slip was in there. Played for and got, you'd have to say. Caught Jason Holder straight in his big hands, and Zak Crawley goes for a golden duck, and from cruising to 29 for 2, West Indies on top.
Well, that's Test cricket, isn't it, for Zak Crawley? A wonderful 76 in the second innings at Southampton, and now he's on his way for naught. First baller, 29 for 2. Now get Andy looking at this one now, because Roston Chase on a hat-trick with a lunch interval in between.
Oh, that's going to be tricky from a stats engine.
We'll give it a bit of time to crank up. You can grease the wheels a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'd mentioned that before lunch, the wicket he took of Burns was the earliest spinner has struck in an Old Trafford test, at least since 2001, when these stats are available. So I think we can fairly assume it's the earliest a spinner's taken 2 wickets in an Old Trafford test as well.
We'll go with that. Absolutely go with that. But you said, Alistair, how quickly things can turn. 29 without loss, and you just thought, England see out this over, get to lunch, and the rate of scoring hadn't particularly picked up, but the West Indies had wasted deliveries. You would have had 2 new batsmen coming out after lunch, so let's start again. And instead, bang, bang, 29 for 2.
Yeah, amazing there. He's just turned it straight into his hands. It was like almost one of those drills you do in the morning with the coach underarm, a simple catch. And West Indies, Roston Chase, he's got a knack of picking up wickets against England. And 8 for and he hasn't turned a ball yet in his 3 balls, but he's got 2 wickets.
And he's got the chance to bowl a hat-trick delivery to the returning England captain Joe Root, who's come out to the middle, returned to the side. Having attended the birth of his second child, he's had a lot to contend with this morning, Joe Root, with the changes to the side, with Archer then being dropped. So leg slip, short leg still. And Roston Chase on a hat-trick. Up to the wicket now, bowls, very straight delivery to Root down the leg side, and it's kicked up. Root left it alone, didn't play, into the gloves of the keeper.
That one did turn, absolutely ragged. Straight balls, it's gone for the same tactics to get Zak Crawley out. And that's good take from Dorridge. Probably 2 yards down the leg side, but that's a bit of turn.
Turn and some bounce. Here is Chase in again to Root. Once more, the turn, taking the pad, deflecting away behind square on the leg side. Picked up and then a dot ball, so no hat-trick for Roston Chase, but 2 wickets, 1 either side of lunch. Last ball of the over. Root crouches over his bat. Chase is in. Straight, and Root plays it with a straight bat, goes back, plays it carefully into the leg side. So he sees out the over with a little bit of an air of concern and a look of anxiousness in his eyes that he's walked out suddenly in such a situation. 29 for 2.
Yeah, and probably all the work he'd have done in the nets of starting his innings would have been against a newish ball, the seamer bowling, getting your footwork ready, especially you haven't played much time in the middle. Now he's thrown into an off spinner. And actually, those last 3 balls to Root did turn. We're talking no turn at all for Burns and for Crawley, but those two to Root really turned, and that one, you're right, it's bounced a lot. I mean, are we going to see a lot of turn and bounce here, or is it just one of those the weirdness of cricket in one sense that it gets a wicket and suddenly everything seems to be a minefield, and really it's just a normal wicket? But those did turn.
The minefield can be in your mind,
Exactly.
can't it?
Exactly.
As much as you can see dark footmarks from the bowlers follow through already on this pitch, and they will only get more pronounced as the game goes on. But Kemar Roach from the James Anderson end into Sibley with his open stance quite wide of the crease, and it's a ball that's left alone outside the off stump.
Yeah, compared to Southampton, where there's such a hard wicket, there's barely any rough, was there at all? And 14 overs into the game, you can certainly, where Kemar Roach is bowling now, you can definitely see the surface disturbed, and imagine that with another couple of days. And so England won't mind seeing that. They won't mind seeing the ball turning, but first innings runs are crucial.
Roach in at past the umpire from wideish of the crease again, a shouldering of arms from Sibley, just a fraction tighter on off stump, but still comfortable leave for him to let it go through to the keeper.
As they are in every game.
Comfortable leave.
No, I was talking about first innings runs.
Right.
You always say, well, they've got a crucial first innings runs. Well, I can't remember many games where it's not crucial that you do get first innings if you want to win it.
The morning of every match feels crucial as well, doesn't it?
That's why we love Test cricket, isn't
Yep.
Headingley last year, and that 67 all out was all part of the plan, wasn't it?
Lull them into false sense of security.
Sibley facing up now to Roach. Driving edge dropped. Second slip. Did that go to Holder's hands? They're coming back for a second. Long chase back. No, they don't. It's a single. Thought about a second and then thought better of it. Well, Holder's ringing his thumb. Just whether it carried or whether it dropped short from his reaction. It doesn't look as if he's distraught that he's dropped one, which makes me think it didn't quite carry. No, it didn't.
Well, I thought it did from here, and that's a bit unusual because Old Trafford has been known as a quicker wicket in England. But Sibley has thrown a good drive at it, and it's exactly where you want to bowl at Dom Sibley, trying to make him drive. It's much happier ball, straighter, work into leg. You don't think it's going to hurt you through the covers, and Roach dangled the carrot, and he did nick it, but it didn't carry at all. I mean, have we misread this wicket as well, saying it's flat?
Feels like a lot could happen in the next close on 2 hours now, as Roach is in once more, and Sibley, it's a full now, struck on the pad. He's got quite a long way forward and outside the line. Roach in his follow through, is he going to have a look? He's looking back towards the keeper, looking back towards Jason Holder, who makes the signal to call in the DRS.
I love Kemar. I love Kemar Roach. He never, he's almost like too honest there. Like if that was Stuart Broad or James Anderson, that's definitely out. But he was like, well, I'm not sure. But I think from here, very, very close. You're right. Whether Joe Root's just got outside the line, Kemar Roach would have nipped it back as we're watching the highlight, the slow replay.
Okay. Just take that back a couple of frames, please, and run it forward. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to need to confirm with Ultra Edge that there's no bat there, please. Keep it running through. Thank you. Clearly no bat involved. We'll go to ball tracking when ready, please. Pitching outside off, impact is outside the line. I'm going to go back to Michael on field, please. Michael, you can save your original decision of not out. You're on camera now. So
England can breathe a little easier. Did get quite a way forward and thrusting that pad outside the line. So Joe Root has an early, let off, but just a moment of alarm. So new delivery from Roach. In he goes now, and Root outside the off stump and allowing that to go through. Yep. Just got his eye in now, having faced up some spin in the previous over.
He nipped back quite a long way from Roach, that ball. The previous ball to to Joe Root, and he played it well actually because he did get a good stride in, which saved him. I reckon it probably wasn't even hitting the stumps, but he looked close, didn't he? He looked close in real time. There's amazing energy now from West Indies. You know, from looking like they didn't know what they were doing in terms of they weren't bowling very well at all. Kemar Roach is steaming in.
Had a big grin on his face as he turned at the end of his mark. In now to Root, full, comes forward, defends, angling it out towards point, and there is no run. So, end of the over, 30 for 2. It was 29 for none, and then Burns was out, which was lunch, the over before lunch. First ball back after lunch, Crawley was caught by Holt at leg slip as he turning ball around the corner, out first ball, 29 for 2. So the England captain has returned to the side, but got to just remember how long ago it was that he last played a meaningful game of cricket. Didn't play in the last warm-up match as well as the test.
Yeah,
so
it would have been,
South Africa.
Yeah, so he'll be trying to find some rhythm. I think he'll, on a purely personal level, he'll be just thinking, I've just got to get out half an hour out in the middle here just to find some kind of rhythm. Almost runs for him will be irrelevant. We know once he's in how quickly he scores and how hard he is to tie down. He's just, for him, that's not going to happen straight away. He's just got to think, I've got to spend a bit of time here, get used to however many nets you have, get used to the field, just get used to being out in the middle. But he's such a good record, such a good player that he'll find it quicker than most.
I'll ask you about how you found it, actually, getting bat in hand again after a period away, because you'll be playing with Essex again very soon. Sibley facing up. Roston Chase again, 3 around the bats, and he's bowling full, defended from the crease by Sibley. Short leg is there. I think that's Brooks under the helmet. Yeah, have you been back in the net?
Yeah, so we had a couple of days of training with Essex in between these two games.
As Chase is in again now to Sibley, crouches and comes forward. Now it's turned again into pads. Bat and pad though. The ball bobbles out into the offside and there's no run. Did you find it easy to pick up a bat and just see it again?
Well, to be fair, I have been training before the first Test match, but I was the first net offence against bowlers actually this time. And first 4 balls, this guy got me out 3 balls out of 4. So
it's not as easy as it looks, is it, from up here for anybody? Forward is Sibley.
No, it's a good reminder. Good reminder.
A leveller. Good
reminder when we're saying they should do this and should do this. No, I was bowled, LBW nicked off all in the space of 4 balls, but things got a bit better.
Good to know that from England's all-time leading run scorer. As Chase is in again, straight, but it's met with a straight angled bat coming forward, Sibley smothering the spin. And Chase has ball in hand again.
What did Mike Atherton say? You don't score runs in the nets, do you? So don't worry too much about it. But
it's Chase up past the umpire. Sibley plays that turning ball better to square leg. Quick single being taken there. They go to Sibley's end, and he's through for the 1. The loopy-ish type of throw into Roston Chase. But trying to turn over the strike here. Don't let Chase settle into too much of a pattern against one batsman.
A good test for Dom Sibley. I thought he got a little bit stuck at Southampton against Roston Chase, and because he's such a leg-sided player, always playing with the turn, which is the right thing to do.
Root crouching low now. Chase in. He's gone back, and he's defended. Pushes a ball away to short leg, ends the over, season out 31 for 2, so Sibley will take strike for the start of the next.
Yeah, so if you want to play with the turn, it's a dangerous shot to play against it, but you can become a bit regimented that it was almost every ball's on repeat, wasn't it? Roston Chase was bowling quite straight and you just worked every ball to mid-wicket. The difference between him and Zach Crawley was Zach Crawley's been able to get down to the pitch of the ball, come away from it, play on the back foot, while Dom's got a little bit stuck, so I wouldn't mind him we're not talking reckless, just be a little bit more proactive. The odd sweep away, use your feet just to put Roston Chase off, especially on day 1 of a Test match.
Sort of transferring the impetus, really, isn't it? Rather than letting the spinner come to you, at what point do you start to take the game to them? So Chase is 2 wickets so far, and that's a beauty from Kemar Roach. Full to Sibley. He was drawn forward and he's beaten past the outside edge.
It's a different West Indies, isn't it, after lunch? Kemar Roach didn't quite get it right in his first spell. It's bowled an absolute jaffer to Dom Sibley there. He's been nipping the ball back into Joe Root, and that's just held. I mean, there is something in this wicket, but yeah, Phil Simmons has got them firing after lunch.
Maybe just said to them, "Oh, boys, you're all a bit flat in the field for that hour." Roach racing in again, and Sibley's clipping it past the square leg umpire, just behind square on that leg side. Coming back for the second. Picked up in the deep. Now pick up. Valuable too at this stage, 33 for 2. Andy.
Looking at Roston Chase's early double strike in tests since 2001 when the ball-by-ball stats are available. That's the earliest a spinner has taken 2 wickets in the opening innings of a test in England. And only the 4th time in any innings of a test that a spinner struck twice in the first 15 overs. The other 3 to do Ashwin at Edgbaston in the 3rd innings in August 2018 as Roach comes in.
Sibley awaits, shouldering of arms, lets it go through.
Was I one of them? I think I must have been.
I'll check
Ashwin.
Yeah, I think he bowled me, didn't he?
I'll check the
Must have
scorecard
been
there.
me.
So,
Is that why you brought it up?
No. Stats are non-judgmental, Alistair.
And just remember, you're the one that asked the follow-up question.
Muralitharan at Edgbaston in May 2006 in the 4th innings, and one you definitely weren't part of, that was Shane Warne, Nottingham 2005, the 2nd innings as England stuttered in a small chase in the 4th innings.
Here is Roach in again. That was just nipped in a touch off the surface, turned behind square once more though, finding the gap out into the deep, and Sibley will come back for another 2.
It's a good chance I was both of those, the Muralitharan, batting at 3. He definitely got me LBW in maybe the 1st or 2nd innings, and Ashwin might have bowled me, so...
Yeah, for how many?
Nothing.
Exactly.
I feel as if I've walked straight into that one.
I'd say, Andy, just sort of open the door ajar and you ploughed straight through.
I think I knew. I didn't know.
No, Muralitharan, you were not out. 34 was a small chase. England chasing 81. Won by 6 wickets.
We can set the jitters going, can't it? Early wickets.
Absolutely.
Root's a calming presence, isn't he? So I hope out there partnering at batsman at the start of his career. It must come back, but good judgment by Sibley. Shape to play and let it go through to the keeper.
Slight problem with my microphone, actually. It's like a bit of dandruff, the microphone. I just looked down just a minute ago and it's like I'm covered in like little black bits of whatever on my pink shirt. I thought, God, I've spilt my lunch all down. My microphone is just flaking.
Deteriorating in front of our eyes.
I thought, my eating's not as bad as I thought.
Well, the idea is not to scratch at your microphone.
I don't think I did. I can't remember doing it.
Sibley awaits. Roach racing in full. He's drawn forward defensively. Big shout of no. It's the end of the over, and it's another good one by the West Indies, and they're drawing shots. A couple of runs for England, though. 35 for 2 with Sibley on to 14 now. Root is still yet to score, so that'll be something the West Indies will be conscious of. Keep the captain on naught for as long as possible. Let a bit of pressure build. Try and get inside his mindset as well.
It's got a bit darker. The shadows of the floodlights, it just feels a bit darker. You don't know whether it's just where we're sitting. It just feels a bit darker than it was before lunch.
A bit of a breeze has certainly picked up, and the flags on top of the pavilion. We've got a Union Jack flag and the St George's Cross flag, and even these fluffy microphones that are used for television. The effects microphones are being a little bit blustered at the moment, but it's dry. We've got a real duvet hang of cloud over the ground at the moment. Chase in, clipped with the spin, fielded it short mid-wicket, and no run. So Root prowling round there, glancing down at the footmarks, which are more outside his leg stump. So much outside the right-hander's off stump. Chase, beard and bald head, in he goes. Sweep from Root, and he's found the gap. Past short mid-wickets, and he'll pick up 1. Neatly executed, and the England captain is off the mark.
I don't think that went anywhere near where he wanted to go. I think the man up at deep backward square leg on the 1, he's a very good sweeper of the ball. I reckon he chalked it. Toe end of the bat, and it went out to deep mid-wicket. But he's off and running.
A change in the field, asking Kemar Roach now to plug a gap at mid-wicket. So there's acres of space out through the offside now.
I like this. They're going to bowl very straight at Dobson. You can't see where he's going to score. Unless,
As Chase is in now, and a little tickle now. It's like ricocheted off the keeper's pad. It's safe behind square on the leg side.
Yeah, he's going to be looking where to score. There's so many fielders are plugging that gap for that work to leg, which he does there, because he gets quite a long way across to off stump. Bring leg slip into play, but he's going to encourage Dom Sibley to play that shot. I don't mind it at all. I like it. I think it's a good field.
They're encouraging him to go against his natural instinct, aren't they? And so hope that they will draw an error. And there's a conversation between Roston Chase and Jason Holder now at the end of Chase's mark. A lot of hand gesturing going on, and whether that's motioning about how much the ball is spinning or turning or not, or...
Yeah, I think we're going to see the battle of wills here. I'm not sure Holder likes this field. I do quite like it. I think he was talking there whether he wants that man across. He bowls quite a more attacking line, but this seems like a bit of a plan which I quite like to Dom Sibley.
So a slip and mid-off on the offside, that's all, as Chase is in outside the off stump. There's some turn and he does work it to leg, and there is Roach there at mid-wicket to field. So he's sticking to his guns at the moment.
Holder's overruled him.
Here we go. Roach is on the move. So he's going back towards cover, extra cover. And so Chase is in again. Sibley, flex to the knees. He's hanging outside the off stump, and he steered this away well wide of first slip and down towards the third man boundary very safely. And he's been able to come back for 2.
He's bowled that one deliberately wide outside off stump to try and prove a point. Actually, you can just see just a little bit there. Holder wants him to do this, and it's never good when a bowler isn't happy with the field he's got. But there are times when you are the captain, you have to make a decision. Holder likes his field, but he's kind of upset Chase.
Chase in again. He bowls that one a little bit straighter, and a little tickle drops just short of leg slip. Again, going with the spin. So, some nervy times for England at the moment. 38 for 2, Root on 1, Sibley on 16. If you go on the BBC Sport website, you'll be able to see the 2 wickets that have fallen. Burns LBW to Chase for 15, and Crawley was caught by Holder at leg slip off Chase without scoring. 2 wickets and 2 balls either side of lunch. So England 38 for 2. Alistair, a few more thoughts from you, and then Aggers is coming in.
It's all right. I think Andy's got his microphone. I can't see you at the back there, but you're going to save me.
Rory Burns against spin averages 27 compared to 39 against pace, but he has I don't know if he's got a problem. Alistair, maybe you could analyse it, but against Roston Chase specifically, Chase has got him out 3 times in 35 balls in Test cricket for just 15 runs. Last summer against Nathan Lyon, one of the top spin bowlers in the world, he was only out twice to Nathan Lyon in 200 balls. So Chase is causing him rather more problems.
Right, good afternoon everyone, and the start of a new over brings Root forward as Roach continues from the far end. Root on 1, just desperately trying to get his eye in here, get his feet moving, get used to batting again. And Sibley moving on quietly, but still the discussions of looking back there between Holder and Chase. You're a very honest man, Alistair Cook.
What have I done?
Oh,
haven't I done?
Well, no. You were challenged without realising it a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Because sitting where we have to sit now off duty is Roach again bowling, and it's edged, and he's got it away past gully and down to third man for 4. It went very quickly. It was more of a flick perhaps of an edge, but it's a boundary to Root. Roach has got a smile on his face, but more one of frustration than anything else. It certainly wasn't where Root was aiming. Flew away past gully. Because we had a conversation last night about you returning to the nets, didn't we?
We did. We did talk about it.
We did. And I thought to myself, right, well, give him the opportunity tomorrow. I wonder if Alistair will confess that the same unknown bowler got him out 3 times in 4 balls and walked away saying, who's this bloke, Sir Alistair Cook?
But he will be saying he's not an unknown bowler.
Here's Roach bowling. Oh, he flashes outside the off stump. And a little bit of bounce there. And through it goes to the keeper.
Yeah, there's a couple of cut shots from Joe Root there. Just the first one he edged, it was just not quite committing to him. Wasn't like more. Gucci always told me if you're going to cut, you have a horizontal bat. That was kind of in between horizontal and vertical, just trying to push it through the covers rather than just let it come. He's such a good cutter of the ball. Just play it a little bit later.
Still like nip away off the seam though for Roach, who hasn't quite got it right. It must be frustrating because the ball is moving around. Here he comes once more, wider of the crease and bowls outside the off stump. And Root this time plays no stroke at it. So yes, I was just listening next door because we get a feed, you see, of the commentary in our off-duty position. And I thought, is Alistair going to be honest here? Is he going to say, yeah, a bit of a net, it felt all right. Got the feet moving again, yeah, thanks very much, a few laps. So I was just changing the subject ever so slowly, but actually, to be fair, you did front up, didn't you?
Well, you kind of have to, don't you?
3 times in 4 balls.
I know.
Wow.
And the whole lot as well.
Roach again bowls and Root squared up, pushing straight, but the ball running out to cover.
A young guy called Ishan was far too good for me.
Good lad.
He got the second ball, first ball's a dog stick, second ball nicked one back through my gate, off stumps. He not only everywhere, there's those plastic stumps which...
That nipping back that we've talked about.
Yeah, but you swung it back, and then... so nip back, good ball. The next ball he nicked me off, went across me, second slip, and then fourth ball, just to kick off, thought, I'll play a big drive, inside edge, roll back onto the stumps. There you go.
We should be seeing more of this man. Here's Roach bowling, and there's a run to Root here, turning it away into the leg side, just behind square. One more to England's captain, who goes to 6.
Ishan, a very talented bowler. I think we will see more of him.
Good.
He's young. I think he's 17 or 18, so a lot of development to do, but it's plenty good enough for me last week.
Well, apparently he said, "Who is this bloke?" He said, I didn't know I was in the trial list, net.
Yeah, why has the trialist all got Gray Nichols kit?
Yeah, what's going on? 43 for 2, Root 6, Sibley 16, but Burns and Crawley falling successive balls to Chase, who...
He's got a thing with England.
He has. I have to say, I think Burns will be really upset with his. It was just a straight ball he played. His bat was so far away from the pad. It's Chase again bowling, and well, he does root there for length. Really, he's playing back into the crease to a very full ball. He has this knack of making it look as if he's bowling absolute grenades.
But maybe we're not doing him justice. Maybe he is bowling grenades.
Perhaps he is, but it doesn't seem to be. Parts his hands again, bowls to Root, who gives up a little bit of room to the leg side and forces out to cover where Roach fields. 43 for 2, shaven-headed, but with a beard, Roston Chase. Fingers bandaged. Parts his hands again, Harbhajan style, and moves in and bowls to Root. That does turn a little slowly, but it's too short. Root can get that away through point. Ball being pursued all the way across that boundary at deep backward point. They come back for 3. Nicely played. He does love that shot.
He's so quick on his feet. Gets away from the ball, and the old say never cut an off spinner. It's like don't pat a burning dog, but he played it with a straighter bat through point. It's like, yeah, really, really classic Joe Root shot.
I've been involved in the game professionally since 1976, and I've never heard that expression before.
Oh, you never heard it when you're don't cut an off spinner, don't pat a burning dog?
No. Chase bowls, that's clipped by Sidley, straight to backward square leg, and there's no run. Never pat a burning dog.
Yeah.
Never heard it.
Don't cut an off spinner. Sorry, I didn't...
No, real Essex.
You've learned something.
I have.
Something new.
I'd happily try and learn something new every day. Here's Chase over the wicket and bowls one that's turned slowly and harmlessly down the leg side. Pat a burning dog. Is that one of Gooch's?
Don't know where it's coming. It must be. I don't know. I thought it was just a common phrase.
Wow.
How many dogs do you set fire to?
I don't want to go there. I like dogs too much. Here's Chase again. Bowling is tossed up and Sibley gets 1. Working it away into the leg side. He's found the gap. Is threading it away past mid-wicket's right hand. And it's the end of the over. 47 for 2. Did you like that field that they set? That actually Chase didn't seem to want it, but you wonder where Sibley would have scored with that extra man in the leg side.
Well, I think Chase wanted it. Holder didn't.
Ah, okay.
So that was the big discussion. I like it because that stops that run.
Yeah.
Like that is the more we've seen Dom Sibley play against off spin, he scores with one shot, which is that little clip through mid wicket.
They're still talking about it now. There's still an argument going on. A discussion rather than an argument, but
it's a battle of wills here, isn't it, between the captain and the bowler?
Yeah.
And who's going to come out on top? I would to Dom Sibley. I would like this. Chase is saying, well, where is he going to score?
Yes.
If I have this field, where is he going to score?
I always felt it was right to go with the bowler first. Here's Roach. Bowls, and Sibley comes well forward and plays down to mid-on because the bowler has got his plans and he knows what he can do well, and bowlers have to think. We are all intelligent people, us fast bowlers, unlike what people think. You've got to think back to now, haven't you? So I always thought it was right to go with the bowler's instincts first, and then if they don't work, say, hey, look, come on, let's just have a look at this. What's going on?
It lasted 2 balls, didn't it, before Holder got his. I think what Jason Holder's talking, he wants Chase with a bit of turn to bowl that more attacking line.
Yeah. Holder again, bowls outside the off stump. I mean, you're wanting Sibley to try and drive through the offside, aren't you, really, to open him up?
But I think if he, with bowling that straight line with the leg slip, the short leg, and that square leg was where extra cover went to. If he's bowling that straight line, he's got such little margin for error for no reward. Because he can only get one really anyway with that shot. And if it just one turns a little bit more, he just hits a little bit too square, goes straight to short leg or leg slip.
Roach from the Anderson end bowls, and Sibley's mistimed a forcing stroke, but he'll certainly get him one run out there to cover. And Roach actually you heard him shout there, no. Get back at the thought of a second. Didn't quite get out the middle of the bat, and he's looking at the bottom of it now, thinking, oh, what happened there? 48 for 2. Route 9, Sibley 18, England put into bat under cloudy skies. The ball has moved around, but I think the West Indies, if they're honest, would admit that actually they've not been at their best today with the ball.
Been a lot better after lunch, haven't they?
Yeah.
A lot better after lunch. I just going quickly back to that Chase, I don't think he's very comfortable bowling outside off stump. Doesn't quite probably finish his action or whatever.
The next one from Roach has Root on the back foot, playing out to point. We've had a bit of cake wars in here, haven't we? Eleanor Oldroyd has supplied us very generously with some home baking, but then haven't you brought in some offerings from Cook Towers?
Yeah, so my wife made some carrot cake, and my 3-year-old daughter made some chocolate brownies with her.
I'm glad you warned us of that. Right, okay.
They're award-winning, those chocolate brownies.
Specific recipe.
Try them.
Oh, look at them all. Whoa, look at that. Here's Roach bowling outside the off stump, and there's no stroke. They've penetrated the bubble, and they're in. I love Eleanor's tin, which is an unusual. I've never heard of a Dorset knob before, but that's what she's presented her lemon drizzle cake in. I had this conversation about bread rolls last year, didn't we? All the different names of
I don't think I was here.
baps and rolls and all sorts of things, but a Dorset knob, I assume, must be some sort of bread roll. Please let us know. Here's Roach bowling on the off stump and pushed away into the offside by Root for a single, running out to the point's right hand. So, bio bubbles or not, we've got some cake, which is fantastic. Thank you. Well done, Cookie. Thanks
Well,
for
no,
that,
I know. It's Alice.
Alice, well, thanks to that. Yeah. Excellent.
So Michael Vaughan's now shown me the lemon drizzle, saying, "Is it as good as last week?" Well, I can't. We haven't tasted it yet.
Who made that one? That's Ellie's. Well, you can go and tell her it's gone downhill. I'm not going to go and do that. It's very generous. 49 for 2. Chase to Sibley. No, chase to Root. So 3 men around the bat. There is a cover, as you would certainly have to have for Root, because he will give himself that bit of room and play the ball in that direction. In goes Chase and bowls, and Root's down on one knee and then sweeping this, pulling perhaps really, down to fine leg. Should be at least 2. Sibley's thinking about the third. There's a long throw to come in from the hotel area. It comes in on the single bounce, and England's 50 comes up. 51 for 2 in the 22nd over at a silent, crowdless bio bubble of an Old Trafford cricket ground. Chase again. Bowls, it's tossed up, and that's driven crisply by Root out to cover, unfielded by Roach. 3 cameramen in front of us on the gantry down here. They've got anoraks, gloves on in one case actually. Chase again, just walks in and bowls very full, clipped away by Root out to deep mid wicket. Again they push for the second, but it's not there. One more to Root. He goes to 13, 52 for 2, and you can hear all the shouting and the encouragement and so on echoing round the ground. It is more echoey here than the Ageas Bowl last week, which is very much a rural setting. Here you tend to hear traffic noise going outside the ground, and just the higher buildings. The sound does rattle about a bit. Here's the next one. It's short and clipped firmly by Sibley. He knows where that gap is and finds a man at deep square leg for another one. 53 for 2. He goes to 18. Michael Vaughan alongside me, wearing his mask like a sort of chin warmer.
Good afternoon. West Indies have been better, haven't they, in the afternoon session?
Yes.
Not, in that morning, but it was an afternoon star with the first session. They were pretty poor, particularly the seamers.
Chase over the wicket, tosses it right up, inviting the drive, but it's horribly mistimed by Root looking to get the ball through the offside.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage where Chase may just have to have a breather. I don't know.
He's done his job. I mean,
yeah.
a couple of bonus wickets there, weren't they, really? Beggoes once more, bowls. It was slow turn there. It's pushed away to mid-wicket. And there is no run. 53 for 2. What we've seen, though, it might be that our friend Cornwall gets to go in the next game, because there's definitely some turn there.
I'm just looking down, actually, to see which is the pitch, do you reckon, that will be played on in the third test? The one as we look down two along to our left?
It looks it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then the first test against Pakistan, where do you reckon that one will be?
Well, whether they manage to dress this one up in time again and play it again, possibly, I don't.
Dress it up?
Well, get it, restore it. Is that enough time to do that or not?
Bit of renovation.
Yeah. It's certainly playing well, or perhaps one to the right of this one for Pakistan.
Your friend Shannon Gabriel is getting loose.
Excellent.
Might take him an over or two to do so. Looks stiff, didn't he, in that opening burst?
Sibley waits. Roach is running up to him. Bowls a ball that beats him outside the off stump again. Sibley 19 plays the stroke once more, but just a fraction away from finding that outside edge.
Well, I think to Dom Sibley, that's where everyone's going to live. Every team around the world will be watching and they'll be studying. He's so favouring of that onside that you just bowl fifth stump, just bring him forward. That's exactly where a lot of the teams are going to challenge him.
Roach bowls, and that's nice for Sibley. That's absolutely perfect, really, for him. On the Midland leg, full. They can turn the ball away out to deep mid-wicket for a couple of runs. That's his real strong area. He goes to 21. Andrew Pidd has emailed us. Hello, Andrew. Never pat a burning dog is a famous Ronnie Scott quote. So I'm sure many jazz-loving TMS listeners will have got there before me. Well, I've never heard that.
I'm pretty sure that Alice has never heard that either.
Have you heard it before?
Yeah, I've heard it, yeah. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
55 for 2. Here's Roach bowling with a grunt, and Sibley works him straight to the fielder this time. Chase at mid-wicket.
Yeah,
5 for 2.
I've seen Dom Sibley play a couple of kind of pushes through the offside, and he's edged one through a gap and he's edged one just short of second slip. I'm really surprised that Roach is just not honing in on that channel outside off stump and saying to him, go on then, try and drive me through extra cover point.
Yeah.
2 slips and a gully away at the outside edge. He's packed this leg side to try and nullify him scoring. He's got a mid-on, a mid-wicket and a square leg.
Very open Sibley, squats there and then allows this ball to rise past him and go through to the keeper. 82 miles an hour, Roach, so quite steady, but he bowls in a cunning way these days. He pitches it up and hits the seam.
Yeah, he does. He's a good bowler. I just wonder if Jason Holder will turn to Shannon Gabriel to try and test Joe Root out with a few short balls. You know that Joe likes to take on the short ball. It's big square, particularly as we look out to the right side.
Roach again, bowls, but too wide to bother Sibley. He allows that to go by. Now, Robert Han emails, great to hear cricket, albeit under strange circumstances. The Dorset knob is a type of savoury biscuit, and there's only one producer now based near Bridgeport. Well, thank you very much indeed, Robert. It's a lovely tin, by the way. It's a sort of tin that I suspect has been doing the rounds for a few years in the Oldroyd household. Moore's Dorset knob. Here comes Roach from the Anderson end. Sibley's on the back foot. You can hear that crack of ball on bat echoing around the empty Old Trafford ground. And it's 55 for 2. 23 overs bowled. Root 13. Sibley has 21. I assumed it was some sort of bread roll. But, you learn something every day, don't you? A new saying today, and also that specific Dorset biscuit. Well, the big fella's back. Shannon Gabriel has peeled off his sweater, which of course he can't give to the umpire, so a rather reluctant 12th man appears. I mean reluctant, he's got gloves on, and of course inevitably he's got a day glow jacket on, long sleeve sweater. Looks as if he was quite happy sitting down next to a roaring fire in the West Indies dressing room. He's had to go out into the elements to go and fetch Gabriel's jumper. I'm not sure why I didn't leave it on the ground, because I assume, I hadn't seen Gabriel, I assume he was down on the boundary with him.
Just noticing here, Joe Root, he's just, I think he's taking middle, but he's also taking a guard on off stump and just put a scratch down the off stump line. He looks like he's just got a bit further over to Shannon Gabriel.
Yeah, he's on off now, isn't he?
Yeah, 3 slips in a gully.
In goes Gabriel then, kicking up his heels, didn't bowl very well this morning. His first ball makes the England captain play, full of length, and he plays that very straight down to mid-on, and there's no run. Nicholas Phillips. Dorset knobs are a hard, dry, savoury biscuit the size of a scone. They were traditionally made in Morecambe Lake, the village over from me in Chidduck, is that right? Every year, bar this one, there's a knob throwing festival near Dorchester. I once saw a guy, he says, throw a knob 20 metres. A stale one will make a very useful replacement to a Duke cricket ball. Wow.
Stale knob.
Yeah. Throw a knob 20 metres. Off goes Gabriel outside the off stump, and there's no stroke from the England captain. He remains on 13 not out. We get all sorts of things being thrown. Isn't a balm cake throwing festival as well somewhere?
Well, I know there's a black pudding
Black puddings.
launching festival. I've never heard of the stale knobs though being launched.
Nor have I. Well, we're a funny old country, and we get up to all sorts of funny things. There's a Wellington boot throwing festival near me.
Yeah, that's
So South Leicestershire way.
yeah, that's a good technique.
Throw the
to
gum
get
boots
in.
about.
Yeah, I bet someone's got some footage of the knobs being thrown
Nice to see
about.
it.
Yeah,
It's probably been cancelled this year.
well, there'll be no
55
crowd.
for 2. No, they won't. 55 for 2. Gabriel's on his way. Bowls very full. Oh, he's driven it into his stumps. Does he know? He almost. The way Gabriel went up there with his hands raised, it looked as if Root had got an inside edge there. Might just have driven that straight into his stumps. On another day, that's where it would have gone. But this time, it flew away, past the wicket, and down to fine leg for 1 run. It was a lucky boy there, because that could have gone absolutely straight into the stumps.
Yeah, so it's wide of off stump and the inside edge went past the leg stump and down to fine leg. So that tells you exactly how close it was to hitting the furniture. Likes to hit them, doesn't he? Generally runs in and bowls aiming for those 3 stumps and hits them more often than any other West Indian seamer.
56 for 2. In goes Gabriel. Bowls, very full, squeezed out by Sibley, almost losing his balance. Quick ball, 87 miles an hour, homing in on his boots. It's fielded at square leg. Well, tell us what else gets thrown around in your sort of village fetes or something. It'd be interesting to know sort of quirky activities that go on in England. I suppose predominantly at summertime. You have your village fetes and so on. Nice to know. 56 for 2.
We already in this over we've seen a looser and what looks like a more rhythmical Shannon Gabriel than we saw in that first spell.
Off he goes, little towel poking out from the waistband of his trousers. He's there now and bowls to Sibley. Nice delivery, that full just outside his off stump. And Darrich didn't take that cleanly. So a couple of bonus, or there'll be byes here.
A funny one, wasn't it?
It
Just
was.
a lead from Sibley, just kind of dipped on Dowridge. A little bit of swing back into the keeper. Let's watch this, and he just, let's see, wait, hits him on the wrist.
Ooh. I think
A little bit of wobble.
a bit sore, I think that. He's on an unprotected wrist at that pace. 3 slips still, so West Indies on the attack. And this is the end of the 24th over. England 58 for 2. Grey skies above. I think it's going to be this way all day. Gabriel moves in bowls, and there's an inviting one saying, "Go on, Sibley, have a
dropped it
drive."
again.
He did drop it again.
It's got simple speed.
He's staring at the ground very suspiciously there, Dowrich. But anyway, it's the end of the over. 58 for 2. Root has 14. Sibley has 21. Ashley Davis just to finish. The Dorset Knob competition was held. It was held virtually this year, and apparently there's an article on the BBC website about it all. So a virtual knob throwing competition in Dorset. Is that fantastic?
I reckon Simon Mann would have entered that kind of competition that he would enter.
Zach Crawley's golden duck at number 3 was the third golden duck by an England number 3 in the last 6 home tests. Joe Root had 2 golden ducks batting at 3 against Australia last year at Lord's and here at Old Trafford. As Gabriel Roach comes in from the far end and bowls full outside Root's off stump, and he pushes into the offside, and Simon Mann sets a new personal worst for longest time to plug in a headset and microphones.
Well, he was.
Well, the reason for that was because Aggers had to get his knob email in. That was why I was throwing the what was it? The
virtual knob throwing competition.
That was the reason. He couldn't help himself.
Well, if any of the TMS team would have entered that competition, Simon, I would have you.
Why? I don't understand.
I just think you're into that kind of stuff. No. Hey, karate.
58 for 2. And Roach goes in and bowls. And it's very full, dug out by Root up towards mid-on. And that is no run, picked up by Shannon Gabriel. You see WG Grace is in the house?
Yeah, I saw that little teddy.
It was knitted by my sister many years ago. Thought I'd come along as a TMS mascot.
It was on the top of your Christmas tree last Christmas.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
How old are we talking there, Andy? What kind of age is the teddy?
Oh, the teddy, or how old is WG Grace?
This is Roach going into bowl to Root, and Root stands up and pushes that into the offside, stands up tall on the back foot, doesn't get any purchase on it, and it stops before it gets out to cover. And there is no run.
My sister knitted it about 10 years ago for, I can't remember what reason. She hates cricket.
She just thought, oh, WG, perfect. I'd have had him a bit older than that, I must admit. It looks a bit...
It looks as though it's been in the washing machine a few times, is it? Or under the stairs during the winter. Roach from the old pavilion end bowls, and forward goes Root. Root guides it to backward point and then checks his stance. As a look, his back leg and his front leg.
Just looking at, if you look at the scoring areas of the England 58 runs, I don't remember a run going down the ground. I don't remember a drive down the ground, which always is an indication that the pitch is just kind of just doing a little bit or not quite coming onto the bat as you would expect. A lot of the scoring areas have been square at the wicket.
Roach moves in and bowls to Root. Root clips that away through mid-wicket for runs. 3, possibly 4. It's a long chase from square leg. It's rolling out towards the point, and it has enough on it to go for 4. Efficiently clipped away by Joe Root, with Roach drifting onto the pads of the England captain. It takes him to 18. He's very nearly caught up with Sibley.
Yeah, that's a confident stroke. One of the best strokes we've seen today, because the angle in from Roach, he kept his balance nicely, let it come to him, and they just used the angle and just going down the leg side. Perfect timing, placement. He's starting to look okay here, the England captain.
Roach bowls to Root, and Root struck on the pad high up. There's nothing from the bowl in terms of appeal. It runs away into the offside. There's no run. It's the end of the over. England are 62 for 2, having been put into bat. Root 18, Sibley 21, Limpet-like at the other end. And Root, that's his natural game. Just looking to be more positive and knock it around. England losing those 2 wickets, one either side of lunch. Burns LBW to Chase for 15, and Crawley caught by Holder at leg slip of Chase. First ball after lunch. Chase has been taken off since. A little bit of grip for Roston Chase.
I guess when Jason Holder won the toss and bowled, he wouldn't have envisaged that the 2 wickets to 4 would be to the off spinner.
Sibley now on 21. Looks up to see Shannon Gabriel approaching. Oh, he's nearly squared up by that one, Sibley. Thick outside edge into the offside towards extra cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, I think Sibley, I mean, again, you're just looking at a young player setting out in Test match cricket. He's 21 from 80. It's not been easy. But now he's got to just start to learn how to rotate the strike, so he doesn't leave Joe Root down the non-striker's end every time he gets the chance to strike for an over. You know, just a quick single, or he's just got to work away of just trying to just up the tempo. Now he's had the chance to get in. He's done the hard yards. I'm not saying being reckless, but now's the time that he's just got to just pick it up a little bit.
Holder warming up at Second slip. Gabriel bowls outside the off stump. Sibley allows it to go through to Roach. Well, he's been selected really because of his adhesiveness. The fact that he just scored those weighted runs and he's just faced more balls than anybody else. Was it last season?
Yeah. Well, he's that kind of batsman. He just knows his scoring areas pretty much on the onside. He waits for those straight balls or those balls that are just going down the leg side. So if you can just nick a single here and there, just drop it and run in and make sure that keep rotating the strike.
He's been there for 81 balls. He's 21 not out. Gabriel sets off again down beneath us, past umpire Illingworth, into bowl to Sibley. It's full and it's pushed into the offside and it goes to extra cover. And there's no run, stopped by Roston Chase. And that was a ball there from Gabriel that some would have been hitting for 4, I think. Strong offside players. It was nice and full. It looked inviting. And Sibley goes to the push drive into the offside.
Well, that's what his kind of grip and his bat swing sets up for, kind of mid-on and mid-wicket. So to hit it through the offside, he almost has to work his hands around the bat to play it through that offside. It's really awkward for him to do so. So he just tries to keep his shape and time it rather than flow through with it. Doesn't feel comfortable doing that.
You can imagine Root at the non-striker's end thinking, bowl one of those to me.
Yeah.
62 for 2. Sibley bends at the knees, waits for Gabriel and turns that off his hip down towards fine leg. Not much on it. It might well have hit the hip actually. Let's wait for the signal. There's bat in it. Roach, Dowrich rather, goes across and picks up before it goes down to fine leg. And one more to Sibley. Takes him to 22. And England on to 63 for 2 on this overcast afternoon. It's an eerie feeling around Old Trafford, players in the nets. The old steward here and there, camera operators. The media at the far end, in the Jimmy Anderson end, in the old pavilion. Broadcasters and players at the Brian Statham end of the ground, the new media centre here at Old Trafford. Gabriel moves in to bowl to Root. It's way down the leg side, not the wild delivery that Gabriel sent down early on today when it went for 5 wides, but no threat to Root at all.
I did notice that the umpires are coming from the far end as well.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where's their little hutch? What are they in? I mean, they came from kind of the angle of the hotel. So I presume they've got a room down there that's...
They could just pop up to their hotel room and lie on the bed for half an hour at lunch, couldn't they?
Maybe that's what they do. Who knows?
It can seem odd to see them going in the complete opposite direction of the players at lunchtime. 63 for 2.
What is that?
Root on 18, waits for Gabriel, short, and Root goes after it, and there's an appeal, half appeal really, from first from the wicketkeeper and then from Gabriel, turning around and holding a hand up. But Root in trouble there, looking to pull it on the leg side.
So I don't think that's a bad approach for the West Indies to Joe Root, just for an over or 2, just to get a man back at square leg, challenge him with a few short balls. You know he likes to take it on. Just plays the shot just slightly too early, then it just misses that outside edge. Didn't come off the surface quite as quickly as he expected. Kind of sat in the deck. I think I'll be taking him on with a little bit of a challenge with a few short balls and just seeing if he can duck and weave for a couple of overs.
They put the ultra edge on it, nothing. It's close to the edge of the bat. Root on the pull underneath it.
Stefan's nipped in for a bit of a chocolate brownie. I think that's Alistair Cook's daughters that he's stolen that. Very nice. Of all the cakes, I have to say, I think they are the best.
They do look the best.
Yeah.
Stefan Shamont, you can read his report on the BBC Sport website later on. Here is Holder into the attack. Bowls his first ball of a new spell, wide of off stump. And Sibley, not to be tempted, allows it to go through.
Yeah, he's given it the nod of approval. Bit of shape there, bit of outswing.
What about Sibley's progression as a test cricketer? Can you build a career playing in this way, do you think? Or have you got to find more shots as time goes on, as your confidence builds at this level? Ball outside the off stump, Sibley allows it to go through. And again, Darich drops it. This time, no cost. Goes in front of him rather than behind him.
Well, it's all about the end column at the end of the day. I mean, if he gets lots of runs batting this way, of course he can. I just think at this level you do just have to keep adding to your game, because the opposing teams will see this and just bowl fish stump, particularly when the ball gets a bit older and softer. And if you're not impacting the game by scoring when it's the best time to score, you know, you're going to affect your own team's performance.
Holder bowls to him and he edges that and gets a single. It's half stopped in the slip cordon. Probably should have been stopped, full stop, but it wasn't.
They haven't been great in the field, Simon. They've just looked a little bit off it today, the West Indies. You know, there's been a few fumbles, a few that have gone through the hand. I mean, time will tell. He's just a young player. I mean, he's played county cricket a lot, but at international level, he's just starting out, just trying to make his way and make sure he stays in the team.
He's playing his 8th Test match here. Here goes Holder to Root outside the off stump. Root allows it to slide by, taken by Darich.
I just think that you mentioned that drive through the offside. If you can work a way of just getting a bit more power into that drive, so if a bowler does bowl a fish stump half volley, he can capitalise. You know, if someone bowls a little bit wider and short, if you can get a cut shot away, just at the minute with the way that bat lift goes out towards gully and kind of back across itself, it looks very difficult for him to play those strokes.
Root waits for Holder, captain to captain. Root plays defensively, half forward, goes out towards cover. And there's no run.
Because and you know, you're looking at it from a West Indies perspective in this series. You know, they've 26.5 overs in. England have only got 64. It's not been easy at all to score, and you don't expect them to be scoring at 3s and 4s comfortably in these conditions. But the West Indies know that the game's going nowhere. You know, they suddenly get 2 in the space of 5 overs, and it's 70 for 4.
Holder moves into bowl to Root. Root gets a straight ball which he defends, head over it nicely. Rolls up to Roach at mid-off, and there's no run. Another over ticks by. 27 gone, 64 for 2. It's old-fashioned, what we might describe as old-fashioned Test match cricket, and that's more England's approach. I mean, they went through that period where they wanted to play lots of shots and progress the game.
No, I like it. I mean, I think, you know, you've got to, I don't think the outfield's quick. You know, so I think there's been a couple of balls that have gone into the outfield that England have got 2-4 that potentially on another day would have been a 4. First innings runs are crucial, and you've got to make sure that you set your platform and your mechanism of the batting unit to about 130 overs. And if you can bat 130 overs, you know, you'd expect to get somewhere near 380, 400. Again, if you do that, more often than not, you win the Test match. It looks to me like England have got that platform that they're trying to stabilise with.
Shalin Gabriel begins a new over. And the Statham end running away from us into bowl to Sibley, very full. Sibley pokes it back to the bowler who fields in his follow through, and you know, there's another example there where some players, I'm sure some players, you know, certainly Root would have been looking for.
Well, that's a good example that kind of delivery. You know, you'd hope, you know, you'd be able to pump that down the ground quickly past the mid-off. So tight, he's starting position as a mid-off is square of the wicket with the batting crease, so he's not deep, he's in. By the time he's walked in, he's probably at 16 yards away from Dom Sibley, so if he can punch one past them, there's plenty of opportunity there.
Gabriel bowls again, it's full, it's angled away into the offside. He can't score there either. It goes to point, he nearly got it past point, but not quite.
Again, that's a long half volley. Even if it had got past point, I think it'd have only gone for a couple.
It's interesting bowling here from Gabriel, because that's 3 he's given him full outside the off stump. Getting Sibley to play, that's what he's getting him to do. And can he find that outside edge? Can he bowl one there? Just does something either way.
I have some Sibley stats that I'll come to after this ball, pertinent to your discussion.
64 for 2, Sibley 23. 3 slips in the gully, waiting for an outside edge. Backward point, mid-off. Forward square leg, mid-on, and a fine leg. Gabriel bowls, this one not quite as full, and Sibley no trouble at all, allows that to go by.
This is his 13th Test innings. Since 2001, when the ball-by-ball stats begin on Cricinfo, 134 openers have opened 10 or more times in Test cricket. Sibley has been out inside the first 20 overs in innings only 3 times out of the 13 times he's opened, which is the best 20-over survival rate of any opener in that period. However, he is one of the slowest scorers. He's the 9th slowest scorer in terms of run per ball and has the 7th highest dot ball percentage. So that those sort of stats sort of illustrate what you were talking about, that he's surviving, using up overs, but struggling to score.
Yeah. Gabriel past the umpire into bowl to him. Outside the off stump. It's coming back a fraction there from Gabriel. Quite wide though, so he was able to leave it.
I mean, he's the kind of cricketer that, as a team, if he plays like this and he's batting out there for a long period of time, for one, he'd be a bowler's best friend. And the bowlers will know they can sit up and just kind of set him for a few nice cups of teas and a few biscuits, because he likes to bat long. I don't think you'll rush to get to your seat for 11 o'clock. It'd be, you just kind of go and analyse him throughout the day, but he's doing a job for the team, and that's what you want your openers to. So often in the past we've criticised him because they've come out dashing. Well, I prefer this style of approach for Test match cricket. I just think it gives them more of a chance of being consistent as a group.
Gabriel tries again, bowls to Sibley outside the off stump, and he flashes that away down towards the third man boundary for 4. I lost the flight of the ball, but it must go off a thickish outside edge, but it was short and wide, and it got what it deserved, really. And Sibley was on to that one, all right.
Well, that's perfect. It was a tremendous shot. Knew exactly where the slip fielders were. He knows there's no one down there. It's a gift of a delivery from Shannon Gabriel, but you also put into the equation this West Indian attack's the same attack as a week ago. They've only had 3 days in between the tests. So he really is wearing down the likes of Shannon Gabriel, Jason Holder, Kemar Roach, and the likes of Ben Stokes, Ollie Pope, Josh Butler, Sam Curran, Chris Wokes, Don Best. They could capitalise because of the hard work he's doing. He's wearing them down.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
England have been explicit about that. Sibley on to 27 with that boundary from his 91st ball. It's 68 for 2. Gabriel bowls very full, and it was almost Yorker length, and Sibley dead batted it. Got the bat down, and went into the offside, and there's no run. End of the over. So England 68 for 2, had 28 overs. If you think of the first session of a day's play, before lunch being 30 overs, and you see where England roughly are by what should be the lunch interval now. So it's been a cautious start for them. Cat and mouse cricket. Play starting at 12:30 today, and can, in theory, go on until 7:30. The lights have been on the whole time, which might well be an issue later on, as it was indeed at the Ageas Bowl. I just couldn't seem to stay on the field if it was cloudy around about 6ish, 5:36ish. That might be an issue as well. We saw some blue sky early, but there's nothing above at the moment. It's uniformly grey. So,
Nice day up north.
for those who come from the south, it feels like a stereotypical Manchester day today.
You do like to point that finger quite often, don't you? Bristol, what you're expecting down in Bristol.
Every time we go to Bristol, you say it rains the whole time.
It does. Well, it does. They always get rained off.
Here's Holder beginning a new over. Bowls to Root outside the off stump, and there's no stroke. And it's through to Dowrich. Well, they were very unlucky with the World Cup last year. Those 2 matches rained out, which damaged the chances of Sri Lanka and Pakistan in that World Cup. Well, there was rain around elsewhere as well. West Indies had a game rained off in Southampton. They played a thrilling game here against New Zealand, which Carlos was involved in. He was caught on the boundary late on by Trent Boult, going for the winning blow. Root comes forward, plays defensively towards short extra cover, and there is no run. It's hard to think, isn't it? The World Cup was over a year ago now. Time slips by the off stump quite quickly.
Well, it was a year anniversary the other day, was it?
Tuesday,
yeah. And I saw all the clips, and just a few little memories came flooding back.
We'll still be playing them in 100 years' time. Well, you hope, anyway. This is Holder moving into bowl to Root outside the off stump, shaping away. Root Watches it carefully, allows it to go by.
Yeah, that was a good lead because it was that carrot dangled. It was a nice floaty, not wide of off stump, but it was certainly there that you could have had a nice drive at that, but the shape would have made the shot a difficult one with the ball swinging away from that outside edge. It was a good lead because you see Joe Root went to play and then he went, ooh, I just leave that one.
Root 18 not out. 2 slips in the gully in, 3-7-1 on the offside. Holder bowls to Root, who drives nicely, but straight to mid-off. And there is no run. Root's had an interesting last couple of weeks or so, where he's been in and out of the bundle with the birth of his second child. Now, how much cricket he's had, really. I mean, all of them had very little, a lot of net practice, but
I'm sure he's been hitting lots of balls.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you're mentally fresh, you've got no baggage. Best time to bat.
Holder bowls to Root. Root turns it away into the onside for 1, possibly 2. Yeah, he's coming back for the second. Throws on its way from Roston Chase. And Root easily home. Root to 20, England 70 for 2 on that World Cup final break. If you want to hear it again, and it's been played a few times, you can listen to the whole final via BBC Sounds, or a special programme on BBC Sounds called The Final Hour. 70 for 2. Holder turns at the far end. Jimmy Anderson end. Holder bowls to Root outside the Osman. Again shaping away swing. And Root allows it to go by, and it's taken by wicketkeeper Dowrich. 70 for 2 is the score. Looks like we're going to have a double change in here fairly soon. Michael Vaughan has departed. Carlos Brathwaite is coming in. Here's Andy Zaltzman.
Looking at their bowlers' speeds according to the CricViz data, and I've talked about how Shannon Gabriel might be tired after a long layoff with injury. Hadn't played a competitive game since last September before the Southampton test. In the first innings at Southampton, he averaged 86.9 miles an hour, second innings 85.5, and so far here 83.8. Alzari Joseph also down by about 3 miles an hour on what he was bowling in the first test.
Yeah, interesting stats those. Gabriel, they chased a ball on the 4th day. Here's Gabriel going into bowl to Sibley. Sibley stuck on the pad quite high up. Gabriel knows it as well. Interest from behind, nothing really from Gabriel. He chased the ball on the 4th day, and you think, why? There's no way he's going to play in the next Test match. It looked as if he was running in sand, but he's got himself out there, walking very slowly back. But it is tough for the bowlers if you've got to play back-to-back, so it might work out fine for England. The fact they have got 3 fresh bowlers in this match, and I'm sure Root would love to have had Jofra Archer in his bowling attack. 70 for 2. Sibley on 27. The leg slip is in now for Gabriel bowling to Sibley, an area which has brought his downfall during his Test match career. So 2 slips a gully and a leg slip. 70 for 2. And Gabriel goes in and bowls to Sibley. Sibley looks as if he's trying to leave that. He gets some back on it. Runs down towards third man. They're off for 1. They're coming back for the second. And Sibley survives. Inadvertent stroke. Sibley to 29 with those 2 runs. And England on to 72 for 2. Carlos is here. Both wickets so far to the slow bowler Roston Chase on a grey day in Manchester after West Indies asked England to bat first.
Very different for a session of play than what we expected. 2 down nonetheless. Not the best session of play thus far either. But yeah, there's some way into that middle order at the moment.
Sibley on 29 now. And here's Gabriel rolling into Bolton down the leg side, and Sibley allows that to hit him. They run through. I'm sure this is going to be disallowed, though, this run. They go, oh, you don't want to get run out or when it could be a dead ball. Just let that hit him. Is the umpire going to allow this or not? No, he's not. Quite right too. So they're nearly a run out there.
Would he have been run out?
Well, yeah, because they went through for the. They tried to go through for the second run. Well, because it's a dead ball.
If it's a dead ball.
That's a good. I don't know. I've ever seen that happen before, actually.
Cricket and its rules again.
Yeah. we need to delve into the laws. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take a risky one on a dead ball. Surely the ball is live until the umpire signalled dead ball. That would be the logical conclusion from that.
But then
72 for 2. Sibley on 29. Gabriel moves in, bowls. And Sibley's across the stumps there, playing into the onside towards square leg, and there's no run.
Because there is a chance the umpire could signal leg boys for evasive action. But then suppose he says it wasn't evasive action, it was going to be signaled dead ball. Is it out or not out?
I think out. That would be my
out and dead ball.
Yeah, and the first run disallowed. Yeah, I mean it does seem perverse, doesn't it? The fact you could be run out off a dead ball. But otherwise, you just signal dead ball straight away, wouldn't you? As soon as you played no shot. Do you see what I mean? That would be the logic there. 72 for 2. Sibley on 29. Gabriel bowls, stands up there and plays firmly in defence. Back to the bowler who stops, and there's no run. It's amazing this game throws up so many different things you haven't thought of. That's why we had John Holder in our box, asked the umpire, people coming with all sorts of questions to him about the obscure laws of the game and how they are applied. Now Gabriel stretching here.
Not a good sign.
He's testing out a thigh, something like that.
Groin probably.
Yeah, or a groin. He's keep an eye on that. He hasn't got the ball at the moment. It's been thrown to him by Roston Chase. Turns round and prepares to set off again to bowl to Sibley. With that leg slip in. He's quite fine, the leg slip fielder. Gabriel bowls full and Sibley drives into the offside past the diving Roston Chase. It's going out towards the long off boundary. It's more a push drive. They've run 2. Are they going to come back for the third? No, that was Root, not Keane there. Problems at both ends actually for the batsman as Joseph got onto that. Right, that's the end of the over. We'll keep an eye on Shannon Gabriel as he walks slowly back to his fielding position. It's 74 for 2 at the end of 30 overs. Isha's coming in. After a few more thoughts from you, Carlos.
It looks like he actually may be going off. Alzai Joseph is at fine leg, but Shannon is walking probably at a deep slip by now and well on his way back to the dressing room. So it looks as though he's going off, and that would be a shame. I guess this has vindicated why England have rested a couple of their seamers and has put the West Indies bowling attack under a lot of pressure now. Roach wicketless in the first game. Jason does what he does. Alzari flickering between hot and cold, and Roston Chase left to bear the brunt of the wicket taking.
Hi Carlos, as Holder comes in now to Root, who's backing across and working it past mid-wicket, sprinting for the first, and will come back for 2 as mid-wicket chases after the ball to the boundary. They might even push the 3 as well, they will, and they'll get there comfortably as the throw comes in to Dowrich. So Root to 23, and he just signals to Dom Sibley with his gloves just to keep talking. That communication so vital in the middle between the 2 batsmen. 77 for 2 then, England. Had to navigate a really tricky period after lunch. Zach Crawley out, very first ball to Roston Chase. Working it off the hips to leg slip. Jason Holder gratefully received the catch. And he stands at the top of his mark now, just giving the ball a bit of a shine on the front part of his trousers. And looks down the pitch, Joe Root, just off the square leg, before setting himself up once more. 2 slips in a gully, a point. Extra cover mid-off on the offside as Holder bowls outside the off stump. Root allows it to pass. Lights on here at Old Trafford, and gloomy skies still. It's been pretty dark and grey all day long. Flags blowing in the distance, a light breeze across the grounds. Definitely a lot cooler up here than it was down at Southampton, Carlos.
A bit too cool sometimes. And we don't have the luxury of just nipping back to the room in between stints.
Well, you were here really early, weren't you? About 8:30 as Holder's bowling edged through the slip cordon down to the 3rd man boundary. It went between 2nd slip and 4th slip. And a very good delivery from Holder because it drew Sibley into the stroke. Looking to push forwards and drive, bat slightly closed, and it would have been a grab for that man at third slip.
It's either been a really good wicket or Sibley has been out of his comfort zone just a bit. He's playing a lot more balls today than he did in Southampton in that second innings. Could be testament to how good the wicket is, but very well controlled. Although it was off the outer edge, still made it down into the ground before the slip cordon.
Sibley on 35 then, as he leaves one outside the off stump from Holder, just back of a length. Bringing the length back on that occasion. Holder 81 for 2, England then into the 31st over here today, and Shannon Gabriel off the field of play. We'll get news on that very shortly, hopefully, just to understand how serious and severe it is. But we did talk about it, didn't we, Carlos, earlier today, about the overs that he bowled at Southampton. Over 35 is Holder bowls to Sibley, who leaves it outside the off stump once more, bat raised high, and how, you know, it would have impacted him after such a long break of not playing international cricket as well, and a 3-day turnaround.
Yeah, this morning, as you say, got here quite early, too early. But then I saw...
I did think that you'd peak too soon. I could actually see you from my hotel room. I was spying on you.
Yeah, I was trying to get here for the debrief or whatever.
As Holder approaches the crease, running towards his balls to Sibley, defending. Comes forwards and manages to smother the ball, but the slip cordon were interested. End of the over then at 81 for 2.
Yeah, and just ended up chilling at work for 3 hours. Or even more, because the play got delayed. But I watched Roach and Shannon drag the bags across to the dressing room, and I thought, they probably had their feet up for the last couple of days. I'm sure, knowing the two characters, they probably had a gym session. Roach would have probably done some running. But it's difficult, obviously, 3 days in between. 1 day is basically a travel day with a long drive. To know how to get the most bowling in whilst you put your feet up. Now, it would have been really, really tough, especially on Shannon Roach. He's a lot shorter, a lot more lean. Shannon big, tall, muscular. It would have been really tough on his body to find our balance, and it looked as though it is showing.
Well, the rest of the bowlers are going to have to put in now. England 2 down. At one stage they were 29 for 2, and Joe Root was striding out to the middle, his first bat in a serious game of cricket in 4 months. Didn't play in the warm-up game, of course, because he was at home, and so it was his first test, quite literally, out in the middle against a quality bowling attack with their tails up. Kemar Roach was getting the ball moving. Roston Chase as well early on in an innings. As a batsman, you know, you want to get your feet moving, and the spinner was on and causing problems. So navigated that, did the captain Joe Root. He's on 23, not out. Dom Sibley has just been going about his business, as we so often see, taking his time. 35 off 103 deliveries. Rory Burns was the first to go for 15 just before lunch. Out to LBW to chase a ball that just went straight on, and Zach Crawley, as I mentioned earlier, caught Holder at leg slip, bowled by Chase, got a bit of turn and bounce, bowling it on middle stump, really quite a straight line to Crawley, and that was the very first ball after lunch. So West Indies would have felt in the game at that point, but since then these two have got a partnership together, Sibley and Root. 81 for 2 then, England, after West Indies won the toss and elected to bowl first here at Old Trafford. Generally teams are batting first here because of the wicket, hard and bouncy, looks a good track, and the fact that it turns a lot later on. But Holder looking up and seeing the overcast conditions, lights on, feeling he had a good opportunity to try and make some early inroads.
Yeah, and Joe Root came up to bat on a hat trick as well.
Yeah.
Not the thing you want to face your first ball in was 6 months.
What a reintroduction to Test cricket. You're 1-0 down in the series, you're in on a hat trick, but that morning you've had to deal with Jofra Archer being withdrawn from the squad having broken COVID protocol. I mean, who would have imagined that 6 months ago? Crazy, crazy stuff. If you're just tuning in, Jofra Archer, it was deemed for him breaking protocol because he went home in between the 2 test matches. Players were told to come directly to Manchester, and he went down to Sussex in the break, in the couple of days off. So England had already named their 13 by that point, and so they couldn't call Mark Wood back up. So they've gone with Sam Curran and Chris Wokes, and Stuart Broad returns to the side as well, as Joseph will come on from the Brian Statham end, running away from us now towards Joe Root. Ball's full, and that's driven by Root outside the off stump. Not too much foot movement as it ends up at point. He's on 23.81 for 2 England.
Isha, I mean, it's tough because you want to be as harsh as on a transgression like that. That could obviously be life-changing if any of the players pick it up. But it is alleged that Jofra literally stopped home for an hour. Some of the abuse that you're seeing.
As Root is back and across, driving edge and taken. Jason Holder at second slip. It came at hip height to his right. Alzari Joseph with the wicket of Root, pitching it up and enticing the England captain into the drive. England 81 for 3.
And Alzari's actually celebrated a wicket. That's a first. And they like to find the amount of times that Alzari's celebrated his wickets in Test cricket. Now, I'm sure he'd be happy with that one. Nicking off the England captain, especially after he lost to Shannon. One less wicket to get over a longer period of time. So very well done, Alzari. And he will play now a very, very important role, not only in assisting sharing of overs, but as a potent wicket-taking option.
Joe Root then out for 23, making the slow walk off into the pavilion. He's disappeared downstairs in front of us as out emerges Ben Stokes, a man who has such a good 2019, the standing captain at Southampton. He admitted that he hadn't slept the final night before what was a really difficult final day for England. West Indies chasing down 200 to see them to the first win of the series, and England on the back foot. So Ben Stokes will want to put in a lion-hearted performance, as we so often see from him. Tricky conditions though, because the ball is still moving, and Alzari Joseph, he actually got the most swing out of all of the West Indies bowlers at Southampton on that occasion to Root, just pitching it up. The seam presentation as we look at the replay was brilliant, just aiming it towards second slip. It went late, but Joe Root took the bait slightly fuller. He was going for the drive through the covers, and Jason Holder did the rest. So Ben Stokes just readjusting his pads at the far end of the ground, rehearsing a couple of drives. Joseph at the top of his mark. He's got 2 slips in the gully, point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a man down on the fire-length boundary as he pushes away now past the umpire. Bowls to Stokes, who clips it off his legs. First runs for him, that is. He will come back for 2. The throw is sent in from mid-wicket now, chasing after it. So Stokes to 283 for 3.
That was very close turning the ball. Alzari's back foot very, very close to cutting that side crease, but no one has looked at it. Is your back foot right? That can't cross. Yeah, that was close. Both of them.
Sorry, bowls tight to the stumps this time. Stokes leaving on length over the top of off stump. Hence the excitement from the slip cordon, and all of a sudden the West Indies again. A few more chirps.
Yeah, it's important for Alzari though to not buy into the hype and go searching for that wicket, and just continue to be patient and express, show off his skills. He's a skillful bowler. Just do it over a period of time, build pressure again, and then get your breakthrough.
Stokes allows that one to pass slightly wider of the off stump on that occasion, so an easier leave. Run rate of 2.61 for England in this test so far. Burns and Sibley occupied the crease for the majority of that first session. Didn't score too heavily. I mean, the ball was moving around quite significantly.
They could barely touch it how wide Shannon and Roach were bowling. Wasn't the best session for sure.
Stokes pushes forwards, hits the inner part of his bat, it heads on out to square leg as mid-wicket is on the chase once more. They'll come back for another 2. So Stokes to 4, and England score 85 for 3 after 32 overs. Lots of memories from this ground, of course, here at Old Trafford. There's no crowd here for this test match, but last year we witnessed a number of World Cup matches, including a century from you, Carlos, against New Zealand. And we were also devastated that you weren't able to do it. It was so close. And it was Trent Boult, wasn't it, on the boundary? And it's incredible, isn't it, to think that the World Cup final, he takes the catch, but then steps back over the boundary. It ends up being 6. But on that occasion, everyone's hearts were in their mouth, and he manages to do it.
I was most upset, Nisha.
I can imagine. As Sibley is punching that to the leg side awkwardly, goes to mid-wicket, no run, the bowling of Holder.
Funny enough, Isha, one of my highlights of that game, second ball of the day, ball goes out into the outfielder at mid-on. I'm not fast, so it wasn't a quick chase by any stretch of imagination, but I managed to get close to it, and then I dived head first, hit my head, got a slight bout of whiplash, slapped at the ball, missed it completely.
Sibley back and across again and defends.
And what should have been an easy 2, I think was a comical 4. They ran 4. I was left with whiplash. Evan Lewis then had to sprint past me to stop the ball from reaching the boundary. He pulled his hamstring. He eventually went off over later. And I somehow managed to let everyone forget that by scoring 100. That was an eventful day.
A calamitous series of events that led to what was one of the best games of that World Cup, as Holder bowls to Sibley, pushing to the offside on this occasion. Ends up at point, no run. It's... I thought you were going to do it again. It would have been a miracle, because you were in such a... Well, there was no way you were going to win that game until you came in and started playing some shots.
Yeah, and for some reason, funny enough, every batter that I spotted that came in, we were just saying, look, let me just take it close. So it's not as a case as though anyone came in and thought, all right, just get as much as you can get, and then let's get out of here. Everybody literally thought we could have won it.
Holder past the umpire to Sibley, who leaves the ball very close to the off stump as it goes through to Dowrich.
But yeah, and just... I mean, I remember looking up at his scoreboard when O'Shane came in and we needed 40 odd, and they told him, look, I can get the bulk of it. I think we ended up getting 40 as a partnership, and he didn't get any at all, only had to face 4 balls. So it probably would have been better as a knock than the 4 sixes if I brought it home, but obviously the result.
Sibley again allows it to pass outside the off stump.
The result in the 4 sixes, you can't top that. Beating England in India. Yeah, but that was one of the knocks that I look back on and think only if I could do that more often. Get the time to bat and then show the batsmanship that I showed in that innings.
But what is it that brings out the best in you in those instances, do you think? As Holder turns at the top of his mark. Here he comes now on an angle to Sibley, bowling a good length outside the off stump. It goes through to Dowrich, and Sibley will remain on 35. Stokes on 4, 85 for 3.
I guess it could be a bit of, that never say die attitude, the challenge. In a way, a bit of arrogance, wanting to be the hero. So my dad used to tell me all the time, I need to find ways to perform in small matches. When there's not much on the line, sometimes they could be trying this and trying that. And then you look back at your average and think, if I made 30 not out instead of swiping up my hand for 10, you'll be averaging close to 30 and look a lot better. But then when the game is coming down to where you're back against the wall, I want to be the person with bat in hand, I want to be the person with ball in hand. And you will lose some, but you know, if it's one thing that I like about myself and my game is that mentality to want to take the challenge on regardless of the outcome.
It's fascinating stuff. I want to get into your brain. As Stokes, the left-handed Stokes, taps his bat down, bat hovering above the stumps as he leaves outside the off stump. A ball from Alzarri Joseph getting some nice curve here, the right-arm bowler. Bowling quite tight to the stumps, and it shapes as it comes back in, but outside the off stump. Just on expectation, really. So the expectation after the World Cup, and you know, is that expectation you put on yourself that you have to perform every time you go out there? Are you feeling it from your teammates, the management, everyone around you in the Caribbean as Joseph bowls this one angling across Stokes as he leaves that one?
You could put it down to a couple of things. Again, wanting to be the hero, wanting to finish it with a 6. Sometimes it's better to take the selfish option or the boring option. You remember, look at your West Indies in Southampton, how they just walked it home as opposed to trying to romp to victory. Sometimes it's better to take the boring or selfish option and just come not out, just get a single.
As Joseph approaches the crease, bowls on the stumps, Stokes defends, back down to the pitch.
For me personally too, it was thinking these 4 6s would have given me a platform, and now I want to take West Indies cricket forward, and it's almost as though you needed to go through a process to get that done, as opposed to it just happening because you want it to happen. So for a year or so, I would say that I neglected the process, looking for the outcome.
Stokes misses one as it goes through to Dowrich on the inside of the bat. That shape that I was talking about from Alzarri Joseph, pitching it on around off stump, just outside as it curves back in, and it beats Stokes between bat and pad.
This is good stuff from Alzarri. Trusting the process. Yeah, he just been hammering away just outside the off stump, bringing the ball back and building pressure, not getting too funky.
Stokes on the back foot, this time defending with the full face of the bat, no run. He's probing away, isn't he? Around that length outside the off stump, and posing questions because he is bringing it back in. The odd one just going away into that slip cordon, but
and
he's bowling well here, yeah.
He's trying to get really close, probably too close, and probably having a look to see if he's getting in the protected area, but it's been good stuff from him.
Here he comes again, full, and it's a full toss that Stokes drives to mid-off. And you can always tell with Stokes when he's frustrated that he's missed out on one, because there's a little grimace and a shake of the head, and he now places his bat down on the floor as he receives a headband from Ben Folkes, who's run onto the pitch in his visor top. And it's become fashionable, hasn't it, Carlos? The headband?
Yeah. You've seen all colours, all sizes. Broad's one has a knot somebody was referring to at the back. I'm surprised that none of the brands have managed to send some branded ones to the England team room.
Yeah, Ben Stokes' hair has certainly grown in lockdown as Dom Sibley sets up to hold it. Diving down the leg side is Dowrich, but he hasn't got anything on it. Sibley, it is a brilliant catch, though, as he leaps to his left, Dowrich. Taking it one-handed in his left glove.
What a grab.
Yeah, that's the ball that just goes on with the arm from Holder. A good length delivery, but it is certainly a target area for the West Indies. Sibley caught a number of times As that's Fuller, and Sibley digs it out to the offside, no run. Right.
Sorry, I was talking earlier on about Golden Ducks for England number 3, so I don't think I ever quite finished the stat. It's Zach Crawley's was the 3rd in England's last 6 home tests. Joe Root has had 2 last summer against Australia. And in the previous 60 years of home tests, they'd only had 6 Golden Ducks by number 3, so there's been a flurry of late.
Thanks for that, Andy. As Holder comes in on angle, Sibley defends ably. Back down the pitch to Holder, who takes the ball and tosses it to mid-off. Ruston Chase position there with his maroon cap on, giving it a shine on his trousers. As he now passes it back to his captain. Tall in stature is Jason Holder. And this is where he needs to dig in. He's lost a bowler. Shannon Gabriel off the field of play at the moment. Here he comes again. Past the umpire, bowls to Sibley, who prods at one outside the off stump. It hits the bottom part of the bat and just falls in front of him as he just rehearses the leave. And Holder will make the slow walk back to the top of his mark. Stokes setting up at the far end, just rehearsing a couple of strokes, visualising how he wants to play. The battle recommencing again, isn't it, by Stokes as Sibley again pushes this one to the offside. It's almost like he's trying to fend it off at times, but that is his defensive push.
It's funny how he plays a forward defence and then rehearses a leave every single ball. But it seems as though he's gone from playing only at balls within the stumps in Southampton to now fending and defending balls 4th, 5th stump. Probably West Indies probably have him right where they want him.
Holder bowls to Sibley, hits the outer part of the bat. It goes through the slip cord and down to the 3rd man boundary. As Craig Brathwaite fetches the ball and throws it in. And that is the end of the over. 37 to Sibley then, 87 for 3, and 35 overs have been bowled in this England innings. Alzarri Joseph no doubt will continue from the Brian Statham end. Lights on here at Old Trafford. Grey skies above. Flags hanging limp in the distance, not so much of a breeze now. But cool conditions up here in Manchester. Clouds looking like they're curdling almost together. No real bright spots as Joseph gives the ball a shine. Wearing a short-sleeved shirt as he pushes away towards Ben Stokes, who's backing across and leaving outside the off-stump. Stokes on 4 then, early on in his innings, 87 for 3 England. You can watch the best of the action we've had now on the BBC Sport website and app. Just click on the text commentary and you'll find them. Or you can watch Today at the Test on BBC 2 from 7 p.m. tonight and available on the iPlayer to watch at your leisure. Watch out for Carlos Brathwaite. Looking trendy without his socks, but his smart shoes on as Joseph bowls to Stokes, who's smothering that ball outside the off stump, off the back foot. And Carlos has departed. In comes Tuffers.
Hello.
How are you doing, Tuffers?
Very well.
You good?
All good. Yeah, always got to watch out. No socks and shoes, haven't you? Especially trainers. Get a bit ripe sometimes.
See, I don't think I could manage that look. Socks and shoes.
Could set a new trend.
Not with these pumps. As Stokes bat high.
Ooh.
Clips it past square leg. A full delivery on middle stump out to fine leg. He's come back for 2 as the throw now comes in, and he sends Sibley back for the 3rd.
Trying to set him up, isn't he? Ball swinging for him. Bowled well. Trying to swing it back into the left-hander's pads, make him miss. Yeah, don't want to miss that Ben Stokes. He'll be well adjacent, looking for the LBW. Looks good though, doesn't he? I mean, he just comes in, just looks $1 million, doesn't he? Ben Stokes. Bowler friendly conditions, a little bit dark, just comes in bang, bang, bang. Looks in good nick.
It's been a lot stiller so far in this innings as he's back and across and defending, but it finds its way to Shane Dowrich actually running away to his right as it heads down to fine leg, but he's even that was played solidly. He's right on top of the ball, head over the ball as he goes to 7 and pinches a single, 90 for 3.
He was on his bike down at the Ageas Bowl, wasn't he? I mean, he was all over the place trying to sort of, nullify swing, nullify little bits of movement as well, really trying to get down the pitch at the seam bowlers. As you say, this might just have a bit more bounce in it though, which kind of stops you doing that.
Yeah.
But still looks solid.
Sibley then open stance to Joseph, bowling wide of the off stump and pushing that to the offside. Sibley is.
Yeah, and you can really see Azari Joseph to the right hand that looks to bowl wide on the crease, and then to the left hand that looks to come nearer to the crease, trying to go for that LBW. So using where he delivers the ball from and his foot position, very well. Looking to draw that drive through the offside to the right hander.
Fastest ball for Alzari Joseph, 86 miles an hour.
Sharp enough.
Averaging 83 as he pushes forwards again, arms pumping, bowls to Sibley on the back foot defending. At the end of the over then, Sibley will continue on 37 and Stokes on 7. England 90 for 3. 36 overs have been bowled.
Might be tempted, even though he's bowled very nicely, Jason Holder, might be tempted just to get Roston Chase onto the left-hander with bounce as well, perhaps a slip and a gully. Left-handed, he has got the ball to turn a little bit, but these two doing a good job for the West Indies. Might have a little bit of spin.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Well, it will be Jason Holder to continue from the James Anderson end. A few more thoughts from you, Tuffers, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
He's looked very solid. Ben Stokes. Shame to lose Joe Root there to a bit of a flashy shot outside off stump. He'll be disappointed with that. Got drawn into it. England were just dragging themselves out of a bit of trouble. Naggers.
Yes, it was quite wide, a bit surprising, really, wasn't it? He rather threw his bat at it and off it went. 90 for 3. Sibley by Old Man River, he's just plodding along, 37 from 117 balls. And Holder's coming in bowling, and Stokes leans forward and plays him carefully to cover. And there's no run. Still pretty grey, and you wonder whether they will get through to 7:30.
Good luck
tonight, I must say. The floodlights have been on all day. And the ball's just moved around a little bit.
He's got a defined role, hasn't he, Dom Sibley, I guess, I think.
Extraordinary down here. They're asking for... There was one person down there at the far end who's a cameraman who's probably been there all day.
Oh, that's going to be tricky.
And Ben Stokes has asked for him to move, and I don't know quite what he's going to do about that. And I think he's gesturing, saying, well, this is my... The trouble is that they have an absolutely firmly directed spot where they can go. And Ben Stokes didn't want him there, so the only person in the ground at the far end is a cameraman on official business, but he's got his hands out saying, I can't, this is where I've been put.
Yeah. You might not be getting pictures from that end otherwise.
Isn't that strange? Holder resumes and bowls very wide. Stokes allows it to go by. No, because everyone's got an absolutely tight little areas where they can operate from, and that's clearly where that camera has been placed.
That's batsman for you, though, John.
Well, it is.
I know.
Some of them could see. I mean, Alex Stewart was the worst.
Yeah, that's right.
See anything?
Yeah, someone was moving in Kent.
Yeah, let's have to stop. Have to stop.
Yeah. Can you put a blanket on that windscreen in North London?
Holder bowls. Stokes just leans forward. Doesn't get very far down the pitch as he leans forward, but that runs away out to point. Well, here, of course, the match, as we're hearing at lunchtime, is where Goodlight stopped play.
That's right, with Dickie.
Yep.
Dickie Bird.
It was extraordinary. There was a DIY superstore.
That's right.
Down to our left, and the pitch was the other way round.
Yeah.
And the light was glinting off it, because it used to be quite strange here in the late afternoon, evening, didn't it, when you're playing?
Yep.
A very low sun. Holder bowls, and Stokes again just walks forward and plays to mid-on, defensively once more.
We played at Horsham
Oh, yes.
Yes. Do you remember that?
I never played a horseshoe match.
No, my second 11 game. And they all used to park the cars behind one end, like in an adjacent field, and the light, you know, late in the summer or what have you, and they all had to go and get sort of blankets,
Yes.
all sorts of things, and there must have been 200 cars there. It took about half an hour. They had to put blankets all
Over the
windscreens, yeah.
90 for 3. Holder from the Anderson end bowls, and Stokes has a look at this and then takes his bat out of the way. It's taken by Durrich, wicketkeeper, who's had a mixed day today. He's had a couple of balls from Gabriel that he completely fluffed. They swung late. And Gabriel, he did go off the field. I can't see where fine leg is.
No, Joseph's down at 5.
Joseph's down there.
I don't think he's on.
I don't think the big fella's on. He rubbed various parts of his leg and has potted off, which didn't look very encouraging.
Might have been worthwhile, perhaps, the West Indies resting him for the next test. In hindsight,
Yeah.
quick turnaround.
I guess they just wanted to win, didn't they?
Yeah.
Win the game,
Play
win
your
the
best,
series.
yeah, play your best bowling lineup there.
Holder's coming round the wicket now, and Stokes raises the bat, and it's taken low down by Durrich. And that's the end of the over. Flags gently blowing away from their poles down at the far end. Oh, here we go. Thank you for this, Adam. We were asking for some strange British traditions. You weren't here for the knob throwing, were you?
No.
So the Dorset knob throwing, it all came about because Ellie Oldroyd has made some cakes, and she presented it in this, it looks quite an old tin.
Lovely tin.
Which to talk about the Dorset knob, which I didn't know. I assumed it was something to do with bread rolls. I had that conversation last year, didn't we, about rolls and buns and
Yes.
But no, the Dorset knob is a sort of a biscuit, apparently. And they have a knob throwing contest. So it's outside the off stump, and Sibley allows that to go by as Joseph continues from this end. So we sort of thought, well, look, we do throw some strange things, don't we? Wellington boots,
horseshoes,
black puddings, and Dorset knobs. So James Wheatley, who's landlord of the Queen's Head, has been in touch. And the village of Sedlescombe.
Oh, that sounds nice.
We have geese that happily roam around the village green and live in the barn of the pub. In goes Joseph, bowls just swings a little. And Sibley's well forward. He heard the appreciative noises there from behind the stumps. That wasn't a bad ball, it just swung a bit, and Sibley played it well. So down to Sedlescombe we go. And at the last summer fair, a grid of 100 squares was marked out and numbered. And in the weeks leading up to the fair, spelled F-A-Y-R-E, of course.
Of course.
The squares were sold off for £1 each, with money going to the local charity. So he's going somewhere, I'm not sure where at the moment. Here's Joseph, very full, swinging away, and played down to mid-off. We then watched to see which square the geese chose to fertilise first.
Okay.
And the person who drew the winning square claimed a prize.
Yep. Yes.
They're not throwing things, are they?
No, but I've seen that.
Have you?
Yes. It's like snail racing and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. And
So simply watching with the goose
goes and
right.
Yeah.
This is Joseph, and he's clipped hard to mid-wicket. Really clipped hard, but straight to the field. And again, lots of noise out there for the West Indians.
Toe wrestling.
90 for 3.
Derbyshire. Very
Not a
big
lot. Can I suggest that not a lot must go on in Sedlescombe?
No. Well,
I mean,
there must be a judge who's just waiting, you know.
They must do a sort of a rota or something.
Yeah,
so
that's right. You don't want to miss the first.
No, that's the vital moment.
Yes, of course. Might be during the middle of the night.
It could be.
Yeah. I've done toe wrestling in Derbyshire.
Toe wrestling?
Yeah. I've done toe wrestling.
On earth do you do that?
Well, with your toes.
Well, I know. In goes Joseph, pulls outside the off stump. Sibley allows that to go by. But do you
with your big toes? With your big toes.
Was it recreational or competitive?
It's competitive. No, it's competitive. Yeah, they do it in the pub in Derbyshire. I think I did it for a one show or something like that, you know. You get your foot like that, and then you interlock big toes. It's like that thing we do with your thumbs, and which one that gets on top of the thumb and keeps it down. They do it with toes. So if you've got a great big fat toe, it's lovely.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
90 for 3.
All sorts.
In goes Joseph, over the wicket, bowls, and Sibley's worked him away from that Midland leg. Through they go for another run. Much more noise from the West Indians now, so urging each other on, if you like. 91 for 3, 38 overs gone. Stokes 7.
And
Sibley has 38. Martin Brunt.
yeah,
On the subject of quirky British
there
events.
you go.
He's a reporter, Martin Brunt, isn't he? Is that the Martin Brunt? I had a go at the shin-kicking championships in Gloucester a few years ago.
Really?
Which involves trying to knock your opponent to the ground by kicking them repeatedly in the shins.
What?
What an appalling sport this is, Martin. No shin pads are allowed, but you're allowed to put some straw down your socks.
Wow.
Maybe one for Simon Mann to have a go at with his new karate
I'm not
skills.
doing that, John.
Sounds a terrible thing to do.
Yeah. And of course, there's the cheese rolling, isn't there? That,
Yes,
yeah,
down the hill.
Looks very, very dangerous. Shin kicking?
That doesn't sound very nice.
No. I can remember from my football days, you don't want to get clocked in the shins.
I don't think so. 91 for 3. Holder moves in, bowls, and Sibley drives him. It's a thickish outside portion of the bat, I'll suggest. You don't often see him get the ball through the offside.
3.
But he's going to get 3 here. Yes, he is. They turn now. He goes to the far end. And Stokes down to this. And England moves to 94 for 3. The light not really very good, if I'm honest. The floodlights are on, but if it wasn't for them, we certainly wouldn't be playing. But it's unusual to see Sibley driving square through the offside, but he managed to get that away.
What are you kicking the shins with? What, a pair of old boots or
I
something?
suppose so.
Can't be doing that. It's break your leg.
Metal toe caps.
Oh, wow. Oh, feeling it already.
Yeah. We can put a few bits of straw down there. That'll make you feel
Oh,
better.
no, not at all.
So, Holder bowls. That's turned away down to long leg for one run. Well, these old traditional sports, they've got to keep you going. Alistair from Storrington.
Yeah.
Why do I know Storrington? I've come across that. Here's an interesting village tradition for you that started in 2007. Well, that's a recent one.
It's all in the pubs, isn't
White Lion Inn, Thacum. It also gives some great names of villages here. Thacum in Sussex. Aid, the landlord, devised a tradition to start the smoking season of the hams. He puts up the Inglenook chimney in the pub. All right, he puts the hams up the Inglenook. Okay.
Yeah.
The runner puts a ham on their back. This is going to get good, I think. Then comes Holder, bowls, and Sibley turns in for 1. Yes, it will be 1. There's a good stop there at mid-wicket. So Sibley goes to 42. It's 96 for 3. Right, so the runner puts a ham on his back, or her back, for instance, then runs up the road, being chased by the regulars. And anyone lucky enough to be eating their Sunday lunch that day, the first person to catch the runner officially licks the ham.
Okay.
It's followed by the winner getting lots of beer
Oh, very good.
and having to run the ham the following year. I was the original runner. I reclaimed my throne in 2008, but my form has since deteriorated and I've failed to catch the runner since. Holder bowls. Stokes on the front foot, plays out to cover. And there's no run. There's quite a lot of this, I suggest, isn't going to happen this year, is it?
No.
The shin-kicking contest won't happen.
No, and I imagine licking the hams.
Ham-licking
Gone out the window.
contest won't
It's gone
happen.
out the window.
There's quite a lot. I think, can you do socially distanced knob throwing? I don't know, possibly. The welly throwing? That could be socially distanced, I would think.
Caber tossing.
So that could probably be. Holder bowls, and Stokes just shuffles into line and plays into the onside.
You've got to be strong to do that.
Have you seen that live?
Highland Games. Cool.
Have you been to the Highland Games?
Yeah, I have, yeah. You've got to be a big old boy to get that.
Yeah, it's basically a massive sort of telegraph pole. Isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's got to land sort of straight and go end over end.
Right.
Yeah, no, you've got to give that a good flick.
I wonder how far they throw them.
Well, it's more about getting it end over end and straight more than far. I think that's right, yeah.
Holder, bringing shadows with him now from the floodlights. Bowls. Oh, that's a good ball.
Belter.
Just held its own there outside the off stump, and Stokes, I think, missed that by quite a long way, actually. Pushing at it and moving away just enough to beat the bat. 96 for 3. Holder's shaking his head. Oh, that was so close.
What's it?
Right, David Broadmeadow.
They're coming thick and fast.
Well, they are.
Are these made up?
Dwyle flonking is an East Anglian pub sport comprising 2 teams of 12 players. It sounds serious stuff.
Yeah.
Each taking a turn to dance around the other while attempting to avoid a beer-soaked dwyle, which is a cloth which is thrown by the non-dancing team.
Right.
I used to play this game with several ne'er-do-wells in Suffolk pubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Joseph goes wide of the crease. Sibley watches it swing away from him and plays no stroke. Well, all these.
There's loads of them.
pub games.
There's
aren't
loads of them.
Yep.
There's loads of them on those winter evenings. Something.
Dwyle Flonking played a couple of games for Gloucestershire Second. the other
Did he?
night,
I thought he might have done. It rang a bell. It could easily be, couldn't it?
Very good all-rounder.
96 for 3. Well, thank you for keeping us entertained. The
Yeah.
cricket's quite slow at the
It
moment.
is indeed.
In goes Joseph, and again, Sibley forward, plays along the ground to mid-on. You have all been busy.
Yeah.
Andy Baird, I live near Abingdon in Oxfordshire. It has a 400-year-old tradition to mark royal occasions. The town councillors dress up in ceremonial robes, and they throw about 4,000 specially baked currant buns from the top of the County Hall building into chanting crowds gathered below in the market square. That must be something from the very old days. Of
Wow.
feeding the,
Yes.
I don't know,
Yeah.
not so well off or something. In goes Joseph, bowls, and, nicely played by Sibley again, getting right behind us and playing down to mid-on.
Like the old squire, just
Yes.
feeding his...
His peasants.
Yes, when they're a bit
Yeah.
short on a bit of grub.
Again, I'm not sure that'll happen this year either.
No. No, it's got to be...
It's sad, all these things that
well, there you go.
having to wait. Necessarily so, but
We should go around the country looking into all these, John.
That'd be great
Because
things to do, wouldn't
yeah, they mainly seem to be happening in pubs.
Joseph, let's just go outside the off stump. It's left alone by Sibley.
We could have a couple of months just going around sort of looking into all of
Yes, our Morris dancers rock up at our pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's very famous.
Including our I think he's now retired, Darryl. He was the local Bobby policeman,
Yeah.
and he used to get into his clogs or whatever they were, and used to
get his
wave his
stick.
hanky around his stick. Yeah, He
Yeah,
used
you
to-
can't be waving your hanky about
No.
nowadays. Oh, no,
No,
quite.
that's going to stop.
Yeah,
I
without doubt.
don't think they'll be there this year.
Yeah.
96 for 3
Wassailing.
goes Joseph again. Low full toss. Oh, Sibley missed out there. You don't get many bad deliveries, but that was a low full toss. He tried to hit it straight down the ground and mistimed that.
Wassailing's one as well, isn't it? When you, I think that's down in Cornwall, isn't it? When you-
Catawailing. Wassailing.
Well, no, wassailing. I think you pour cider all over a tree or something just to make sure it sort of, like a lot of these are all about sort of the start of the summer and rebirth, aren't they? And
Yes.
things like that. Back in the pagan, perhaps a bit.
Yes.
Sort of pagany.
Is that what Morris dancing was? Is that to
Might
do with
be.
that sort of thing? Here's Joseph again, some nice outswing there. Admired by the slips, but ignored by Sibley. And it's 96 for 3 after 40. And tea today is about 25 past 4, I think, so keep an eye on that. Paul Dowling from Thrapston. I know Thrapston very well in Northampton.
Say it again.
Thrapston. I think I've got a feeling we bought a donkey once from Thrapston all those years ago. In the village of Titchmarsh in Northamptonshire, they have parachuting teddies thrown from the top of the church spire, and the one that goes the furthest wins a prize. And at our charter fair, again Fayre, we like the old spelling, in Thrapston, we put teddies on a zip wire that goes from our church spire. That sounds rather good fun.
Teddies have feelings too.
No, they do.
Yeah.
They do. Isn't it funny how one cake from Eleanor Oldroyd can inspire a nation's conversation, at least for a couple of hours?
Yeah. Because as you say, it has been a bit quiet.
It has been a bit quiet, and the lights gloomy, and there's nobody there, and it's all a bit soulless. But you're here, Tuffers.
Yes.
We're making the best of it. It is a bit odd.
No, I think a lot of it is to do with, as you say, the coming of the spring and rebirth.
Right.
And we've got through the winter, I might be wrong.
I love these names of these villages, though, but they're a bit challenging to read blind, and I suspect I've got some wrong, I'm afraid. In comes Roach, and he bowls down the leg side. Change of bowling here. That one is not taken cleanly by Darrett. He's having a pretty miserable afternoon, actually, behind the stumps. And they're coming back for the second as the throw there misses the stumps.
That's hurt him, John.
That has hurt Darrett. He didn't even go up to the stumps there to collect that. Ooh, stinger.
Get it right on the old finger point as a keeper. It's a bit chilly out there. Oh, what have we got here? Got another one.
This is from Antonio. Something which Crawley is world-renowned, other than for being next to Gatwick Airport, is the annual World Marble Championships held every year behind the Greyhound pub.
There you go.
Teams from all over the world come for the weekend, normally resulting in a Dutch win, really. There's Roach bowling, played by Stokes, down to mid-on, and there's no run. So they're Marble champions, aren't
And
they?
well, the Conkers.
Oh,
Yeah, Conkers is big. Yeah, they've got a great big sort of world championship at Conkers. I don't think you're allowed to bake them or anything.
I
Or
thought
put 'em
they'd
in
been sort of health and safety off now, Conker fights.
vinegar. Well, I think you've got to wear safety glasses.
Do you?
Yeah, but I think they're still going, the Conker Championship.
There's nothing nicer than in your hand that lovely shiny new Conker, is it?
beauty.
You just
Yeah.
it's on the ground. You open it up, all the spikes, and there is that beautiful brown round nut. It's played out towards mid wicket. It's on by Stokes,
Horse chestnuts, aren't
and
they?
there's no run.
They're horse chestnuts.
What
Conkers. They come from the horse chestnut tree, don't they?
do they?
I believe so. It's held in Ashton in Northamptonshire
Yeah.
every second Sunday in October.
The annual
Yeah.
chestnut tournament. Is it still going? Conker Championship.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it still going? Is it? I thought I read something. I think our old friend Keith Flett from the Beard Liberation Front is a big
Conker.
He's a big Conker man. There's Roach bowling and driven down to mid off, and there's no run. He used to cheat, didn't he? He used to soak them in vinegar and make them make them like knobs.
Yeah.
Rock hard. There you go. John O'Neill is enjoying the commentary in France. I'm living like a hermit, he said. I once attended a potato sack filling competition in County Mayo in Ireland. All the huge young farmers racing to fill their sacks and then racing to the finishing line. I think they'd all imbibed beforehand, and it was very amusing. In comes Roach, bowling outside the off stump. And Stokes plays no stroke. It's taken by Darwich.
Well, it's the old pancakes as well, isn't it? Pancakes.
Pancake
they all,
tossing.
they all run through the, I think there's, egg and spoon,
Yeah.
pancake flipping on Shrove Tuesday and all that stuff.
Oh, there's, yeah.
There's all sorts going on out there.
The way we amuse ourselves.
We just don't know what's going on.
No, we don't. Well, we've learnt a lot this afternoon.
No, we have. I've jotted all them down. I think there's a show in that somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
TV.
Cool.
In goes Roach. Stokes comes down the pitch at him. It's one of those walking shots.
Yeah.
And he allows that to go by. And it's taken by Darwich, who's sort of nursing that sore finger. At 98 for 3. Stokes 8. And Sibley has 42. You're enjoying life in the bubble, aren't you? You've been doing okay?
We've been doing all right. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little bit strange, but we've got a good team here, haven't we? It's nice
Yes.
to see everyone, nice to bump into people, isn't it? It's not too much of a hardship, is it?
No, it's not. It is funny watching the cricket like this. It was strange.
We've been very well looked after, haven't we, to be fair? It's all been very...
It's been
clear.
very friendly as well.
Yeah, it's been very
But
friendly.
It is quite restrictive, but there's been
Yeah.
no heavy-handed sort of...
No, not at all.
do this and do that.
Yeah.
I think everyone just understands. 98 for 3. I hope everyone's enjoying having live cricket back again. Judging by all those emails, I think you are. Then goes Joseph again.
Oh, good lead.
He's bowled really well in this spell. That just swings away again, challenging Sibley to play, to fiddle at one outside the off stump and edge it. Oh, Keith Flett is on. I knew he'd be around recently. Don't forget the ancient folk custom of beard waggling, recently revived by the Beard Liberation Front. It takes place on May Day, and there are other special occasions with the aim of waggling the beard in celebration of facial hair. I bet Keith's loving lockdown, because there's so many beards now, aren't
Yes,
there?
it's become very trendy, hasn't it?
Yeah, Danny Rubin, our media man downstairs.
Got beauty.
Well, it's coming on. This is on the leg stump and runs here for Sibley. Can pick that off. And the fields are rushing out towards a deep square leg boundary. They take 2. 100. And 100 up for England. 100 for 3. Sibley moves to 44 from 133 balls.
What do you... So, how do you waggle your beard?
I haven't a clue. I mean,
Obviously
Keith,
sort of like
Keith will...
Sort of waggle,
Perhaps you do.
Waggle your jaw a bit.
Keith will tell you.
Yeah. Waggling. Yeah, I've seen some beauties. Some long hair as well. During the lockdown.
Oh, a lot of long hair.
Yeah.
Joe Root. He looks like Robin Smith. So, Sibley going on the back foot, playing up to middle. Remember how... I know, very loud. Remember how Robin Smith's hair was sort of swept back?
The Judge.
Like the Judge.
That's why you call him the Judge.
Well, the mug shot of Joe Root for this series that we see on the telly is very similar.
the Judge is weak.
Swept back, yeah.
Yes. The beak.
I suppose because they've been in their bubble, and they went in their bubble before
Yeah.
people could have a haircut.
Well, I don't think... Yes,
They haven't been able to have a haircut.
No, it's only just come back as well, isn't it, having haircuts?
Yes,
It's only just
and they
started.
were locked away by
Yeah.
then.
they were one of the last things to come back.
Joseph bowls it swinging away, and, ignored by Sibley. So that explains.
Dorney got the old shears out. The Duchess got the shears
Yeah, I'm
out.
afraid so did Emma as well. She did a really sore job. So I was saying, explaining. I do take the blame for this. We know those clippers.
Yes.
And I normally have a number 3.
Yes.
And I saw the number 3 and thought, there it is, clipped it onto, there you go. We went outside for this, and the first lot went through, I thought, crikey, that's a lot of hair. I didn't know I had that much anymore. And the 3 was actually not number 3, it was 3 millimetres, which is a number 1.
Oh.
Joseph bowls full, squeezed away, fielded fine in the gully.
Yeah.
And so there's one stripe all down one side,
Yes.
which was a number 1. It was...
Taking a bit of time to come back.
Well, it has. Tougher, thank you, yes. But yes, that was our nod to...
Looked like a skunk.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty at all. But no, that's why the players then, or a lot of the players. Mark Wood has shaved his off.
Has
he?
he?
Thought, yeah. Ben Folkes got, well,
Yeah.
his hair's as long as Ishigua's. A lot of it going on with headbands and all sorts of things. Joseph. Oh, that's a lovely ball. Beautiful outswing. It's moving away. Late, but well played by Sibley, who looks well set. 44 not out. 100 for 3. Towards tea we go. With Simon Mann. I think during tea we're discussing the Jerusalem recording.
Oh,
did you feature in that?
No, I didn't feature. I
Tuffers.
missed out on
Well,
that.
some people did as they were asked
Well,
to. and
no one approached me.
Yes, they did.
No, they did
Yes, they
not.
did. I was on the
No,
Zoom
they did
call.
not. I've been straight there.
I was on the Zoom call in which you were invited to attend. Some thoughts of you, and Simon Mann's coming in.
I would have liked to have had a line on Jerusalem, but not it. And it goes. Oh no, perhaps not.
Better come in with a stat, an emergency stat. Just 5 boundaries in the first 40 overs.
Here's Kibar Roach going into bowl to Stokes. Outside the off stump, there's no stroke, taken by Darrich. A bit late now, Tuffers.
No, well, I was never approached.
That's the 5 boundaries in the first 40 overs today. That's the fewest boundaries England have hit in the first 40 overs in a home test, at least since 2001, when we have the data available. And generally at Old Trafford, in the first 40 overs of innings, you get a boundary every 14 and a half balls. Just one every 48 balls in the first 40 today.
Well, it's usually flat here, isn't it?
Roach outside the off stump, no stroke from Stokes. I think we need to summon Adam Mountford, our producer, to provide some evidence. Did you send Tuffers the email, Adam, or not?
Oh, was it? I haven't got an email. I don't do emails. I don't. Did you partake?
I did.
Oh, did you? I'm listening. Is this coming up at tea? Oh, I'm
well,
here.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
going
being
anywhere.
released tomorrow, broadcast tomorrow, isn't it? No?
Yeah.
We'll get the details of that in a second. Here's Roach going round the wicket to bowl to Stokes. Again wide, getting wider and wider, tempting Stokes. Stokes did not play at it, and it was through to Darrich. It's on the ECB social media website, Twitter, whatever, and ours as well, apparently.
Could go viral. Have we got the rights? Have we got the rights just in case it goes to number 1? You never know.
And we're all getting royalty stuff, as you're not.
Well, no. Well, I'd like to think it would go to the NHS if it kicks off. I'm sure it would. I'm like a cold spring. I'm listening to this.
Roach outside the off stump, curving away from Stokes. That good delivery. Jonathan mentioned the last ball of the last day from Joseph to Sibley. It was a lovely ball in the colder outside off stump. Sibley played it very well, left it.
He comes in for a bit of stick, doesn't he, Dominic? But I quite like it. Listen, if I'm sitting in that dressing room with my feet up, I'm going, you keep going, Dom. You know, he's still there. He might not be, he might not have all the shots of Brian Lara, but he's doing a valuable job, especially in conditions like this.
Yeah. He's 44 not out the non-striker's end. Roach bowls to Stokes. He's testing him outside the off stump. He's with the angle in and then getting it to curve away. That's 4 in this over. Stokes has not played at any of them. Walks off towards square leg. As Roach goes back, it's...
What line did you do, Simon? What did you do?
I honestly can't remember.
Oh, can't you?
But like somewhere in the middle of Jerusalem. And I did the West Indies song as well.
did you?
Rally around the West Indies. We did a bit of that as well. I don't know if that's made the cut. I mean, neither of them deserve to make the cut.
No.
But
Can you hold a tune?
no.
No.
Roach bowls outside the off stump again. Stokes lets it go, and that's the end of the over. 100 for 3 after 43 overs. I actually commandeered my whole family to do it.
Oh, well done.
I didn't want to do it on my own.
So you hid.
Sort
in other
of,
words.
yeah.
If you were to do a karaoke, if you were forced to do a karaoke, what kind of tune? What would be your go-to?
I really don't know, Thomas. Actually,
Bit of Johnny Cash.
I can get that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's quite simple. Yeah. Just sort of.
I've only ever done karaoke once.
To a burning river, something like that.
Another emergency stat, quick.
You got me going now. I wish I'd have had a go.
Yeah. Go on, Toltz.
Hello.
Toltz.
Something's happening.
Light. Is it light? Is it light? I think it's light.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can.
It's got dark.
You can see the shadows quite prominent on the ground.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Oh, no, they might have another go. Well, T's not.
What's going on? It's really strange. The umpires chatted. Looked as if they're going to go off for light, and then on we go.
Chase is on, perhaps.
Oh, well, I think they said we're going to bowl Roston Chase.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah.
Say, well, if you're going to bowl Roston Chase, we'll stay on.
Yeah.
Who do you bowl at the other end? That's the question, though,
Well,
isn't
they'll
it?
probably just have one little cheeky over a spin and then
Yeah.
perhaps wander off.
And it's coming up to tea. Tea is at 25 past 4 today.
Oh, well, so it's only a couple of minutes. Isn't it?
So 1 over and then off 5 minutes later. I mean, there is a dark cloud over the ground at the moment. But having said that, I mean, it's pretty uniform all around Manchester.
Yeah.
And we're going to have light issues, I think, today.
Yep.
And the light meter's been brought out now for Richard Illingworth. So this could well be the last over before tea. We've had 43 overs today, 100 for 3 England. Scored at 2.33. It's been a hard working day for them again.
Yes. Yeah. Joe Root looked good nick, didn't he? Looked like he'd never been away and then had a little bit of a dart at one.
He was caught by Holder off Joseph at 23. Crawley was out first ball, guiding to leg slip. First ball after lunch off Chase, and Burns was out just before lunch. LBW to Chase for 15. He reviewed it. It was absolutely plumb. 100 for 3. So Chase, who took the 2 wickets early, saying 2 for 13 from 5 overs. He's got the leg slip in again.
Got to be careful
There
here.
is some grip there for Chase. First day pitch, a bit tacky. Chase goes in and bowls. And Sibley fiddles that away into the offside. It's a strange one, that. It was just a straight ball, and he wasn't quite sure whether it was going to spin or not.
No. And it's a horrible position now for the batsman because you know you're coming off of the light and everything just go, I've got 6 balls to get through.
Chase to Sibley, and Sibley, as he dropped it short leg, it was hit very firmly, clipped away, and one of those really difficult to catch at short leg. And it went down. There's a lot of excitement out there, but it was hit really hard by Sibley off the back foot. And it was one of those where the
jumper.
Yeah, you sort of bend over as a fielder, and does it lodge in your body? And but it didn't. It dropped down. Here's Chase bowling. And he goes past the outside edge of Sibley's bat, and it misses the off stump, and it misses the outside edge as well. Or had missed the outside edge. This is such a testing over.
Yeah, all sorts of trouble. They say that was full and just went on with the arm, and then the other one spun, of which he really middled it, got it straight in. Well, it's a great delivery. Just got on with the arm. Missed the outside edge by a whisker.
Couldn't have been far from that off stump either.
No, I thought it had bowled him originally.
Well, Darich was leaping up in the air. I thought it had bowled him to start with. Sibley obscuring the stumps. 100 for 3. Pressure on Sibley here. Chase goes in and bowls to him. He stretches forward and turns that to short leg. And there's no run.
All sorts. Let's have a look. What they're thinking. Did it hit the outside edge there?
No, it didn't.
Back leg.
Chase to Sibley. Floated up outside the off stump. Sibley with a flick of the wrist turns it into the onside to one of 2 mid-wicket fielders, the straighter of the 2.
You're almost tempted to get one more in there.
Yeah.
Catch him round the bat.
Chase bowls to Sibley, tossed up, and Sibley hits it firmly into the mid-wicket gap there. He found the gap between those two short mid-wicket fielders. Roaches onto it, sends in the return to the non-striker's end, and Sibley is back for 2, which takes him to 46. Now, what are the umpires going to do about the light? I suppose they could bowl Brathwaite, couldn't they? They did in the last Test match, and he
is
very nearly picked up a wicket.
I think he might be coming in here. Is that him on the left-hand side of Holder?
I think it could well be that they're going to give Brathwaite a go. he wasn't far away from getting Stokes, was he, in that
Yeah.
at Southampton? It was one that, that turned and went to slip.
Yeah.
Another Sibley stat for you. This is 13th innings, 456 runs from 1,238 balls currently. In terms of balls per dismissal in Test cricket over the last 2 years, he is the third hardest player to get out, behind Steve Smith and Sri Lanka's Angelo Matthews. So he's averaged dismissal every 113 deliveries. So he is adhesive.
A bowler's dream, if you're on his side.
Yes.
You keep churning them out. Yeah, we are going to have a bit of Braithwaite.
Yep, from the Jimmy Anderson end of the ground, the far end, the old pavilion end, if you know Old Trafford. Flags are fluttering at the far end, which you think could blow away, in theory, some of this dark cloud, but it looks uniform away to our left-hand side where the weather's coming from as well.
Hasn't moved, has it, all day, really?
Great big grey sheet stretching all over the northwest, or this part of it anyway. Brathwaite bowls outside the off stump, and it goes through to Hugh Dowrich. Stokes not playing at that. I mean, Brathwaite has had problems with his action. He has been looked at, and that ball looked a bit peculiar, as said. Brathwaite bowls again. It's driven by Stokes into the offside towards extra cover, and there's no run. There is a long off in for Brathwaite bowling to Stokes. And his off breaks round the wicket. Pushes that through, and there's no stroke from Stokes. It's taken by Dowrich. He does have an unusual action, Craig Brathwaite. 102 for 3. Brathwaite bowls, Stokes drives, goes to Holder, and that short extra cover position. He's got a couple of men out, 3 men actually. The mid-on has gone deeper as well towards long on, not quite all the way back, and there's a deep cover as well. Brathwaite bowls to Stokes, who crashes him to deep cover for a single. Stokes walks to the non-striker's end, long single there. 103 for 3 with 1 ball left in the over, and what this has done, I think, although the two batsmen are coming down to have a quick chat with each other, whether we're going to get 1 more over before tea. I think we might, actually. And the way Chase bowled in that previous over, I think West Indies will like 1 more over.
Especially to the left-hander.
Yeah. It will be that way if Sibley does not score off this delivery, or doesn't score a single or a 3. Brathwaite bowls to Sibley. Sibley turns it to backward square leg, and there's no run. That's the end of the over. Let's keep an eye on the umpires now. They're coming in for 1 more. 103 for 3. The electronic scoreboard to the left of the point is brightly lit up beneath the floodlight pylon there, indicating that the light is an issue. The floodlights taking over from the natural light. And we do wonder, though, it's 4:30 on a summer's day. The lights are on, and players are going to walk off a bad light. It just feels so unsatisfactory.
I liked your shout about swapping the balls. Yeah.
Well, I think they'll have to come to it eventually, just because we have to play.
We have to. We're in the entertainment industry, but not today because there's no one here, but people are listening and watching all around the world. Yeah. But that is what it's all about, isn't it? So I'm with you.
I mean, it does seem left field and radical, and that people would ruck, but surely it's about trying to play the game as much as possible.
Yeah.
103 for 3 after 45 years, so halfway through the day's play in theory, although actually shortened by the weather today to 83 overs. Stokes goes back, clips that away towards mid-wicket. There's no run.
I like that gully. I like a gully in there as it's bouncing. Gully to the left-hander, leg slip to the right-hander on bouncing pitches.
He's got a slip and a gully and a short leg. Chase around the wicket to bowl to Stokes. He's down the pitch and hitting him high down the ground towards us, and this has gone for 6. Well, that's one way of playing till tea.
Just about got there as well. Wow, that has come out of nowhere.
It's the first 6 of the series.
And let's have a little look at that. I mean, Ben Stokes has gone early there. He's nowhere near that, really, to hit that shot. But luckily it didn't turn.
Yeah.
And he's, got such a good eye and such strength. Just planted it straight back over his head. But, you wouldn't want to run past one of them just before tea, would you?
If it had done something, he probably would have been in trouble because he didn't quite get there.
No. Wow.
Chase bowls. Stokes gets a short ball. He nearly pulls it to mid-on. There's a real tangle there.
It's like Muller Ithram bowling. What's going on? I mean, Roston Chase, I mean, his record particularly doesn't show he's a great offie, but he's got something from this pitch and getting England batsmen in all sorts of trouble.
He toe-ended that towards mid-on. It's one of those, actually, you almost feel he could have hit it anywhere. That was the problem. But did he cut it? Did he pull it? What does he do? And he got himself into a tangle. Chase bowls very full. Thick outside edge from Stokes. Goes to short extra cover.
England need tea to come.
Yeah.
They need tea to come immediately, I think, because it's just a bit fractious. I think Ben Stokes is saying, hold on a minute, I'm not going to let you bowl here. But let's do that after tea, perhaps, Ben. That's what the England camp will be thinking.
Stokes is 15 not out, and Chase goes in to bowl to him. Stokes, lovely glide there into the onside, down towards the fine leg boundary. Chases on from slip. Ball doesn't quite win. Not back inside the rope. Blackwood is onto it. Sends in the return. And they are through for 3 runs. And 1 ball to go until tea. 112 for 3.
And it's good batting by Ben Stokes, because then you get the bad ball, don't you? You're attacking him, you come down the pitch, and then it makes the bowler think. If you just slot in...
Well, the next ball was a bad ball, wasn't it, really? And he nearly dismissed him.
Well, I know, and then that one down the leg side could try to bowl it a bit faster, so you kind of manipulate the bowler's thinking.
Chase now to Sibley. Sibley right forward, head over. Exaggerated defence there.
Smothered it.
And Chase picks up, and there's no run, and that is the end of interesting, entertaining little spin session just before tea. 3 overs there. Anything could have happened with those 2 bowlers bowling, and Stokes and Sibley surviving, but also thriving as well.
What's going on there?
There's a chat between umpire Illingworth and 3 of the West Indies players, including Jason Holder. And do you know, it might have been if the light stays the same, what are you going to do after tea with your bowlers, possibly? It might have been that, because the umpires go to the far end, and the players come off of the near end, the media centre end here. So then that might have been what that communication was about. What are you going to do after tea if the light doesn't improve?
Yeah, you can come out after tea if you're going to bowl 2 spinners, and if not, we'll all stay in and have another cup.
Yeah, basically. Right, West Indies making their way off at the interval. 112 for 3 the score. 29 for 1 at lunch. Burns, LBW Chase 15. Crawley caught Holder at leg slip off Chase for 0. Root caught Holder at second slip off Joseph for 23. Wickets going at 29, 29 and 81. Stokes is 18 not out. Sibley, the Rock,
the Wall,
whatever you want to call him.
Yes.
They're on 46.
He's done well. He's done well, because it very easily nicked off. It was getting some shape, weren't they, the West Indies bowlers, and they were, they didn't bowl great in that little session just before lunch, but then they came out after lunch and did put some pressure on, bowled in good areas. But he's done well again, Sibley. He's done well.
What about the surface, Tuffers?
Done a bit. I thought it looked flat. Well, I was on commentary when they took the covers off this morning, and I said, oh, that looks flat, but it's spun and it's bounced and the odd one has nibbled. I think it's been a good surface. Keeps everyone interested. If you play well and watchful, you can get runs, and if you bend your back and give it a spin, you can get some purchase from it. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops, this pitch. I don't think you'd want to be batting last on it, so if you can get a score, I think that's England's thinking.